What's going on? 6 o'clock. Good morning. I'm from 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. First off, appreciate everybody that came out last night to Game Terminal. Was a lot of fun seeing you guys hanging out, playing games, not getting bested in anything. Nobody beat me in anything, mostly because I picked easy games. I picked easy games that I know I was going to win. But big success. Had a lot of fun. If you guys didn't get to check it out, go check out Game Terminal. Appreciate them hosting us. NBA Draft Night 1. Well, it was last night. Plenty of surprises, like Zack Edey going 9th overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. SEC Player of the Year Dalton Knecht falling to the Lakers at 17. Night 2 of the draft starts tonight with the Toronto Raptors at pick 31. Some top talent remaining on the board. Kyle Filipowski out of Duke. Bronny James did not hear his name called last night, but the Lakers sit at 55 overall. That is a 25th pick in the second round, primed to select LeBron's son. 2 NBA contracts. Big extensions that got done yesterday. The Miami Heat and Bam Adebayo, the 3-time All-Star, 3-time All-Defensive Player, reached a 3-year, $166 million extension. And OG Anunoby, who was traded from the Raptors to the Knicks last season, signing a 5-year, $212 million contract to return to the New York Knicks. For all your foundation, repair, and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Thursday mornings, Ramon, Kayla, and Will is off and running on 104.5 The Zone. RKW with Brad Hopkins in for Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh making the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. We had a great time last night at the inaugural RKW at Game Terminal. Fun had by all. Great food, great drinks, a lot of W's for yours truly. 615-737-1045. We appreciate all of you who showed up, and we hope to do that event every year.
Yeah.
Great time. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, that was good morning. That was really fun. That was a cool place. I had never heard of it until we started to set up this event, and never been out there. And clearly you drive up and you're like, where are we? It's kind of industrial, part of the, city. And you drive up and you walk in, and this place is just a hidden gem. I think I heard you say that, Will, or somebody say that yesterday. But yeah, games for days. I mean, every game you can think of. The arcade games were cool. I just love looking at pinball machines. I think they're so fascinating. Whether, you're playing them or not, I could just go down and look at all the cool pinball machines. But yeah, they had about everything there, and lots of great listeners coming out to say hi as well.
You know what I discovered, fellas? I like you guys.
Well, thanks, Brad.
Take the surprise out of your voice.
Did it take you outside the studio to realize that?
No. Like, I genuinely like you guys. You guys are good. That's not a guarantee that the people you work with, you're going to like, even outside of what you do, right?
Good point.
I like you guys. You guys are really good people. And the people you guys are attached to are really cool, too. I love Peyton.
Likewise with your wife.
She's cool, man.
Thank you.
How about that? And Travis, that's my boy. Stop. I like that guy.
I had to keep him in check. His ego was getting too big yesterday.
Yeah, here we go. And the fact that, Kayla, you and I don't live that far from each other. I guarantee I see a Tzatziki's in our future.
Exactly.
What? Panera? Pick it.
I already have a TJ Maxx shopping spree set up with your wife, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Y'all in the TJ Maxx, I tell you what. But, excuse me, I'm going to try and speak in the French accent today.
Oh, God. How many of them were taken in
There were 4 of us taken in the draft today.
Goodness.
NBA draft last night, night number 1. Lots on that this morning. Is Zack Edey was the pick over Dalton Knecht at number 9.
Is that how we're doing this?
Ugh. Of course, it's how we're doing this in this state, in this city. Absolutely, that's the headline from last night.
So how about this? My ex-wife's husband and I went to lunch. Yeah, I said that. We went to lunch and.
Ken?
He had on a Purdue Boilermaker hoodie, because Bryson went to Purdue, of course, right? And we're sitting there, about 3 people walk by, just in random times. Some were like, boiler up, oh, that's so you're supposed to say hammer down when you say boiler up.
Yeah.
Because we were playing each other in the finals. And then we were walking out of the restaurant, and this lady that had on a UT hoodie, she literally 2-hand jacked him in the chest. Like, boo! Like, he's kind of a big guy. So
did he know? Did she know him?
No, total stranger.
It's 2 shots for you.
Total stranger.
For that push. 2 shots for Zack Edey. As soon as he gets to the end.
Yeah,
I
hear
you.
Get him to the line.
Come on, man. You know they're hanging out all over.
Well, when Adam Silver shook his hand last night, the first time he does shake his hand, it's going to be a technical foul on Silver.
Oh, God. Is that what we're going to do?
Absolutely it is. In this city, in this state, absolutely
I heard a story about
is.
him, though.
Like a story like what?
Yeah, that a journalist told me, and, the story did not impress me. Let's just say that. I'll keep it at that.
Oh, come on. You got to give details if you're going to open the door.
Let's
the guy's kind of Rico Suave.
He was not
right?
nice.
Oh,
in the way that he went about his business with certain people in the media.
Oh.
Just was rude.
Well, he's going to Memphis.
So there you go.
There you go.
I thought about you, Will, when he got drafted to Memphis.
Yeah.
I said, and this is an even bigger reason for Will to not like the Grizzlies.
I loved it. I was really worried. Dalton Knecht was going to go to the Grizzlies. Because then more people in this state would have some kind of affection for the Memphis Grizzlies.
True.
I was told as a kid I was not allowed to cheer for the professional team from Memphis. It was not an option in my family. So I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. So our Hawks just, made a big move last night.
So you're contributing to what we felt when we first moved here and we had to play our first season in Memphis.
Born and raised in this city.
They didn't want us there.
You grow up and they hate you and you're just kind of, I don't know.
What's going on?
It's kind of like the Texas and Texas A&M dynamic. Like,
sure.
Memphis is A&M and Nashville is Texas.
So
and there's a lot of hatred towards all of the perks and all of the growth and all of the, I don't know. It's stupid. I don't actually hate the people of Memphis, but I like rivalries in sports because I think we need more hatred in sports. So I don't mind not really getting along with their teams. And I also remember during The Last Dance when there was the tweet of, in The Last Dance, what was it? Scottie Pippen, a kid was like, are you going to come to Nashville? He goes, Nashville? Why would I go to Nashville? And the Memphis Grizzlies tweeted a screenshot of it and said, we totally agree.
Stop.
Then they deleted it about 30 minutes later.
Then Pippen's kid went to Vanderbilt.
Again, it's not the people, but they hate us, so I returned the favor.
For me, it was something else to do. Just like people that like a multitude of different sports, when the Grizzlies got to Memphis, it's like, hey, look, there's another place to go that's not that far. It's not as far as Atlanta, and I can watch a pro game. I watched Mike Tyson fight in Memphis.
In Memphis?
Yeah.
I've never been to Memphis. Never been.
Are you serious?
Congratulations.
Travis has.
How long have you been here?
8 years.
And you've never been to Memphis?
No.
You never been to Beale Street?
Nope. I'd like to go. I'd like to watch. I actually would like to see a Memphis game. I'm waiting for the Seattle Supersonics to come back, then give me an excuse to come down there.
Best luck with them. Yeah.
So I met Tom from Michigan State. What's his name? Coach
Izzo.
Coach Tom Izzo. Yeah, because we went down and watched the Warriors play the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And he was there.
Yeah, Klay Thompson.
And Draymond. Well, Draymond, that's where he was there to see Draymond.
Yeah.
Either way. So it was cool, man. I got a picture with him. He was sitting right in front of us. The cool part was I'm sitting there. Cool. I'm literally sitting there in the stands, and he's sitting right in front of me. Like if he stretched and leaned back, his back was on my knee. No, he's not that big. But I was sitting there, and I said, I leaned up, and I said, why is no one mobbing you? Like, why is no one like walking up and asking you for your autograph? You're just sitting here, and people just don't even. It's like there's not anyone recognize who you are. He started laughing.
I bet he loves it.
It's cool.
I just think the state of Memphis is okay with being the state of Memphis.
It seems like Memphis would have been. It seems like Memphis would have been cool with any other city getting a team but us.
That's the thing. It's like you go back that far, and they were absolutely livid at us for getting the team ahead of them. They believed that they were much more deserving of the NFL franchise. Look, I was like 2 at that point, but again, I was raised with this idea of like, look, they do not like us, and we're just going to do our thing over here. Not going to worry about it.
We kind of have that hatred for Seattle. I'm from Spokane. But what's weird about that is all of our professional sports are in Seattle. So we can't like hate it overall, but like the people are definitely snobby over there, some of them. So.
Go Hawks.
Yeah.
Go Lakers now.
Well,
Dalton Knecht to Los Angeles Lakers.
I never heard that.
Again, I don't hate
They
the people.
are.
You funny, Kayla.
UW, I mean, it's the snot school.
There it is. There it is.
Did I get my
school?
But Dalton Knecht is going to the Los Angeles Lakers, and that is, I tweeted it last night, that is going to be a jersey that goes triple platinum at Darty's all around Knoxville next year.
Right? People already love
Lakers
to wear
jersey.
Lakers jerseys. You're right. And now you get Knecht's like name on it. By the way, I was so happy for him. They were saying that he was falling because of his age. I thought, garbage. And you know what? Good for the Lakers. Good for the Lakers for getting him at a steal of a spot. I loved his suit last night. He had all the Vols custom stuff inside for the lining.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. You know what I like? I like the fact that, I mean, when he went to the Lakers, I said, it figures.
Yeah.
Tennessee somehow associated with the biggest NBA story that there was until the draft took off, which was J.J. Redick becoming the head coach. So he's going to be coached by the guy.
That's great.
But that's an advantage, I think, for Dalton Knecht, because who is J.J. Redick? Dalton Knecht.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about same, though. I mean, Dalton's bigger. He's more of a wing versus a shooting guard, right?
Yeah.
But it is cool. It is fair to say, though, because against Auburn in Tennessee's win, where Dalton Knecht scored 39 points, Rick Barnes mentioned that he actually tweaked a set for Dalton that he saw Mike Krzyzewski have success with J.J. Redick at Duke. They were literally running plays for Dalton Knecht at Tennessee that Rick Barnes saw work for J.J. Redick at Duke, and they worked for Dalton Knecht at Tennessee. We scored 39 points to beat Auburn.
Yeah, another performance this past season that actually stood out to me was Kentucky-Tennessee. Reed Shepherd was unstoppable. I mean, I was sitting there saying, can somebody get on this dude? And I didn't realize, Kayla, Will, that dude has bounce.
Oh, yeah.
I think he had the highest, standing vertical at the combine.
He had a 42-inch vertical at the combine.
Well, that's that.
The running
max. Yeah. Is that the difference? Is it called a max vertical when you can? They should let us do that in football. They should let us run and jump. For whatever reason, are we going to be measured on jumping? Like, are we touching a goalpost or something after we score a touchdown or something?
White men can't jump, Brad, so you're asking the wrong person.
Reed Shepherd says poppycock. That's what Reed Shepherd says. I see your white men can't jump, and I'll bounce all over you.
615-737-1045 is our number. Coach Mack will join us at 7:20 this morning. The RKW Draft, in honor of our night last night at Game Terminal of Best Games, is in hour number 3. And Ron Slay will make us smarter about Tennessee baseball, about the NBA Draft, about whatever Slay chooses to make us smarter about this morning. 615-737-1045. Coming up, though, a question of the day. If you could commission a sports documentary about anything in sports, past, present, any athlete, any coach, we're in a good era of sports documentaries, sports filmmaking. Who do you want to just have all access insight into over a year, a couple of years, or whatever you want? 615-737-1045. We'll dive into that next. Thursday morning on this show, we call it Friday Junior on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, RKW, Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, and Will Bowling. 615-737-1045. And streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Twitch, please.
Bert's not doing it anymore, so.
Yeah, he did. He told you that yesterday.
Yep.
So this summer, I don't know if you guys have seen the list of sports documentaries. There are a ton that are in the works. Obviously, ESPN 30 for 30s have been a thing for a decade at this point. But the list of what is coming out this summer has got me thinking about if you could build your ideal sports documentary, any era, about any athlete, coach, anything in sports, what would it be about? So that got me thinking. So give me your interest level in these coming out just on Netflix this summer. America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders.
Already started it.
Season 1.
Already started it.
How is it?
Good. It's that is one of the most ridiculous things that you would not think would be ridiculous in terms of the effort and the work they put in and the no pay that they get. But they are what everybody looks up to in the league in terms of cheerleaders. They do it at the utmost, I guess they're the trendsetters in that way. And the two ladies who run it, they've been running it for over 25 years, and they are tough. They are tough cookies. And it brought me back specifically to my dance days. I'm sure your daughter would relate to that. But it is actually interesting. It's not about just, a bunch of girls jumping around and, looking cute. It's actually good.
I sympathize. I'm a dance dancer.
You understand. Yeah. You understand.
I'm good on that one.
It's just tough for me to discern the difference between that and making the team, like the old Dallas Cowboy reality show. It's more of a reality show and less of a documentary for me.
Got it.
I have to watch it because Cheyenne's watching it.
I
love when the girls get cut. Send them home. Send them all home. Tell everyone they didn't make the team. I love it.
July 9th, Receiver. 8 episodes. All access look into a couple of wide receivers.
Yep.
From the NFL season.
Just a couple of dudes.
Good ones.
Just a couple of namers.
Justin Jefferson's in there.
Ooh.
It's the same premise as Quarterback from last year.
Which I loved.
Call me when there's a fullback one.
Same.
I'd watch fullback.
You stole my joke. I love that.
Patrick Ricard, Alec Ingold, Kyle Juszczyk.
Nah, you know what? I want kicker.
Kicker be cool. I'd watch
Because you know what? Because no one knows what they do, man. No one knows what they do.
Because they don't do anything.
Well,
until
they win you a game or lose you a game.
I'm just joking. I love Brett Bird.
Trust me, that's one of my favorite
that would be punter.
dudes.
Or sorry, punter.
I want to.
Punter and kicker. You could put them both in.
Because they all hang out.
Yeah, you could put them both in special teams.
That's the problem. We've been grouping these guys together their whole career. Oh, just throw the long snappers in. Let's just make it a special teams coordinator.
A long snapper usually is someone that has a position. He's either a linebacker, D lineman, offensive lineman, particularly. Like Bruce was our long snapper for the longest time.
Unfortunately, when I played Madden, I would always have to cut Morgan Cox because he was a 56 overall tight end.
That's hilarious.
You just can't use that guy.
Yeah, just group them together. Call it special teams because they are different, y'all. They spend so much time together, not just at the facility on the field, but off the field. Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we're out there sweating during, one-on-ones. Of course, you've got to be accurate, and we want you to, Will, at the most pivotal time. We need you to put that thing to arches, right? But what's going on? You ain't out there for 2 hours, kicking. So you're doing something. Oh, working on the golf swing, I would imagine.
Yes.
So they're really good golfers,
probably.
Man. Kickers are really good golfers.
Yes, they are.
Later this summer, Sprint comes out.
We know you're watching.
About Olympic sprinters from their journey from the World Championships to the Paris Olympic Games. This is also on Netflix. The athletes included Sha'Carri Richardson, world champion, maybe soon to be world record holder, the way she's running right now, in the 100-meter dash for the United States. Noah Lyles, the world champion, and just won the U.S. championship as well, like Sha'Carri over the weekend. And Jamaican Sharika Jackson will be featured alongside runners from the U.S., Jamaica, UK, Ivory Coast, Kenya, and Italy. Marcel Jacobs is a great guy to put in that as well. I'm all in on this, obviously.
Of course you are.
This is my sport.
I will probably skip this because I just watched a documentary, 30 for 30, featuring, now it's like skipping my mind, the track athlete back in the day. It was a phenomenal documentary, but because the Olympics are coming up, I feel like I will get fulfilled with track and field through the Olympics.
This will give you a better look at the people you'll be watching win gold medals for the U.S. because right now the U.S. runs sprinting around the world. There are some guys in Jamaica that would have something else to say about that and have been running really well this summer. But you've got big personalities in Olympic sprinting right now that have not been the case since Usain Bolt left.
That's impressive.
So Noah Lyles literally was pulling out Yu-Gi-Oh cards out of his kit on the start line and doing these cool celebrations. I saw somebody say that sprinters are just wide receivers who have the same personalities. They just run straight lines. Alcaraz, the docuseries. Carlos Alcaraz, tennis player. In addition to Breakpoint, that's come out, Full Swing, all of these things.
Nope.
What is the documentary that you've liked the most in sports over the last 2 years?
That's too hard to ask. I've watched so many.
Well, it'd probably be one of the 30 for 30 series. Yeah. Or,
what's your favorite 30 for 30?
I was in two of them.
Wait, which ones?
I was in Max 30 for 30. No, I was in Broke. Remember Broke?
I was going to ask. Yeah, I remember that one.
Because I feel
the
like crazy
they
part
had
was
a lot of
I'm
people
in
talk.
Broke, but they put me the part that they put me in there was showing how former athletes become business owners, and I was doing a commercial for a company called Champion Car Wash. Mm-hmm. You might have remembered them. Well, I don't know. You didn't move here.
No, I've only been
it's
here
a Bellevue joint, and they had a chain of them, right? So I was doing a commercial for it, and they took the snippet from that commercial as the overlay for them talking about athletes that transition out of sports into business. It was funny, and they saying something about becoming car wash owners or something. I just happened to be pulling up in my car doing this commercial saying, it's a sin to have a dirty car, something stupid, you know what I mean? But either way, they used that part. And a football life, of course, the documentaries I would watch, tend to be sports related. Obviously, I do watch some things that are outside of sports or documentaries, but since this is a sports talk show, the ones I tend to focus on are the ones that are usually about us or the sport I played.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Kayla, best one you watched recently? Or best one or two?
So tough.
Did you get a lot of options?
I know. Well, I think I'm like a crime person too. Like I like crime. So any kind of scandal or crime that seeps its way into sports, I'm definitely going to watch it. So one of the most interesting ones I thought that was just a weird, story overall was the Oscar Pistorius documentary, who was accused of, killing his wife. It's a crazy story. Yeah. And just the way that they laid it out, I didn't know much about him until I saw that. So I thought that was interesting. I'm trying to think. Most recently, oh my goodness, there's just so many of them. I don't know any off the top of my head. That track and field one that I just saw though was really good. I can't remember. I'll bring it up when I look at it. I'm looking at it right now.
The thing is though, I'm not really I don't watch Netflix a lot.
Oh really?
No, I don't. Now I did watch Netflix when Game of Thrones was on, or what was the other one? The Crown.
Game of Thrones was even on Netflix.
Was it on Netflix?
Just on HBO.
HBO, right?
Yeah, well, it was The Crown. The Crown was the one that was on. Yeah,
it's popular.
Even watched.
I watch it too much.
What is Meghan and Harry? Watch that on Netflix too.
The documentary.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was
best
pretty cool.
Sports documentaries for me. I love the Book of Manning, about the Manning family of Cooper and Archie and Eli and Peyton, of course, for obvious reasons. For some of the Tennessee part of it. The Two Escobars is about Pablo Escobar's connection to Andres Escobar, a Colombian soccer player who was killed for an own goal that he had against the United States, actually, in the World Cup, because Pablo Escobar had a lot of money on it and was the, obviously, cartel leader of the Navarro cartel and had an ownership of the club that Andres played for, Atlético Nacional, in Colombia. Fascinating story, really, really good. That and Four Nights in October, my two favorite documentaries. Four Nights in October, the series of the Red Sox came back from down 3-0 to the Yankees to win the ALCS. Would have been 20 years ago, which is insane to think about.
Oh.
And That one is those are my two favorite ESPN 30 for 30s.
I cannot. I'm so bad at remembering off the top of my name. False Positive was the latest track and field one.
Yep.
That I watched, and that just came out. Actually, that was on Butch Reynolds trying to clear his name of taking steroids. I mean, he was a fascinating, impressive runner, and then all the stuff went down with him. I also, one of my favorite of all time is The U. I love that documentary.
Well,
it's a good one.
One I got really wrapped into was the Aaron Hernandez.
Oh my God!
I mean, I
talk about crime.
Mouth open.
Fascinating.
Mouth open for me.
I watched all the docs on that. I watched all of them.
Yeah. That was
615-737-1045 is our number. If you could pick a sports documentary to watch on any topic, what would it be? Let's start with Jason in Murfreesboro. What's up, Jason?
Hi, how are y'all? Good morning.
Great.
Morning.
So, I do believe, as a Longhorns fan, my absolute all-time favorite player you will enjoy is a Vol for life, Reggie White. Absolutely deserves more than a 30 for 30.
Great pick.
Facts.
Very, very true.
I'll hang up and let y'all talk about that one because I don't hear y'all talk about that Vol for life near enough. And that's coming from a Longhorns fan that tears up anytime he's brought up.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Reverend right
That's the best one I've watched recently.
Yeah, I watched that one too.
I was going to say the best one I've watched in the last 6 months. That's been my favorite is the Reggie White one.
Yeah.
Legend. Pride of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Well, it's more of the off the field stuff. Just
100%.
who he was as a man. And my goodness, the reverence the community had for him obviously getting his church bombed. I mean, it's just what an incredible story, other than the one we know of Reggie White, who couldn't be blocked by
Minister
one
of
singular
Defense.
guy.
That's right.
Exactly. He was literally putting hands on. He was baptizing people.
What would be your dream documentary if you could build one on one topic?
It would probably be the transition from sports. Because there are so many different levels to that conversation, resources, things that are available to you, trying to reinvent yourself, a new identity. Obviously that's close to me because I'm retired as an athlete, having played for a long time. And for me, I've always thought in some weird kind of way that the longer I played, it was it was a curse, because the longer I played in the NFL, the less job experience I had in anything else that I was going to possibly transition into, right? So when I retire from the game, I'm 35 years old, and I'm starting at the same level that these kids are starting at coming out of college, to try and do something professionally, And it was a journey, So I think that would be something that I would like to at least listen to other people's story on how the transition was for them.
I think that's interesting. There's so many athletes that make the transition, and whether they make the transition and go straight into what we've seen lately that's kind of been a fad is, broadcasting. There's a lot of athletes that have quickly, retired, and then they're going straight into a broadcasting role. I mean, honestly, you could document this whole thing with Tom Brady. I mean, you could document his whole transition and what it's going to be now that he's going to be on the number one team for Fox. I think that actually would be really fascinating going behind the scenes. But then also somebody who might not choose that path, somebody who might choose going into the coaching path straight from playing, or just the regular world of business. I really like that. Pick about 5 guys transitioning to the different things.
Yeah.
And document. I'd watch the heck out of that.
Where they are now.
Yeah. I like it.
I want to go all the way back to 1936 and follow Jesse Owens as he races in Germany, a World War II era Olympic legend, and a guy who, if he had today's technology, is probably still the fastest man of all time.
Sure.
Jesse Owens, to me, is one of the most fascinating athletes in the history of sports. I'm going back to the Berlin, Germany 1936 Olympics to see him win 4 gold medals in the 100, 200 long jump and 4x100. And the political element of that, the athletic achievements of a guy who was breaking color barriers and doing so as the best athlete in the world at that time. I love everything about him. But if you could take a camera crew around him and have today's documentary technology around him, that would be unbelievable. And the movie about him that came out a couple of years ago, I believe it was Race, was outstanding.
Yes.
Kind of a dramatization of all of it. But he is one of my favorite athletes of all time, Jesse Owens.
I didn't know that, Will.
Yeah.
Legendary up there in Columbus, man.
Yeah.
They got the statue up there and everything.
Let's go to Braden in Shelbyville, 615-737-1045. What's up, Braden?
Not much. How y'all doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Braden.
I'm doing well. I would love to have a documentary involving Pete Rose and getting all the professional opinions of people that believe he should get in the Hall of Fame or that he shouldn't, and what all went down, because I feel like the vast majority of people are split on what's really right for what went down with this whole situation. I just think that'd be a very, very good documentary that a bunch of people would like.
Interesting.
I like it.
He'd talk about it. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely.
He definitely would.
Solid.
Do I get to say mine after the break then?
Well, go for it.
How about we throw Ramones in there real quick before we go to the break?
Okay.
Well, Kayla, go. I mean, yeah.
You want me to go?
Take it.
So it's a little personal, but I do think it would be something that would be fascinating for just anybody who's interested in sports, because it's truly something that's, in my eyes, a bit of a tragedy in, what the world we're living in with football, basketball, baseball, whatever you want to say, but the demise of the Pac-12. This is a conference of champions. I mean, if you look at it, I know there's a lot of different sports that come into it, but they have the most NCAA championships of any conference when you combine all of them. It's a conference that's been around for a long time. They've produced incredible athletes. I am a proud grad of Washington State, a part of the Pac-12. The stuff that went on behind the scenes, the crap that happened for the demise to happen of this conference is really crazy. There's a lot of stuff that started to happen way back probably 10 years ago that you could start to see the cookies start to crumble. And, going inside with Larry Scott, the commissioner at the time, the things that he didn't do. Some of these conferences, what they were doing in terms of looking at the long-term effects of not having these TV contracts. I think it would be incredible. And then the poaching of the West Coast players and how these players, they continue to lose players. It's all part of the demise of the Pac-12. And I think it would be incredibly cool to see that, and not in a good way for me. I'm going to be probably crying during it. But, the Pac-12 network goes black in a couple weeks, I think. And, a lot of people lose their jobs in that network. So I just think it would touch home for a lot of people that are Pac-12 people and people that aren't, to say, hey, what not to do.
Yeah, I think that will definitely be a documentary.
Yeah.
100%. That'll be a fascinating one.
Ramon says Len Bias story.
That's a good one.
I'm biased, yeah.
Yeah, we don't care. Come to work. Come to work. You don't get to put your pick for documentary in.
Oops, sorry, Ramon.
I want to
Bert,
see
what you
him
got
and Bert
then?
go at it.
I would want bust, and it just follows the biggest bust of the NFL draft. Like
The Isaiah Wilson story.
I knew you were going to say that.
Like it.
Whoever.
Was that the
like
premise?
that.
Is
That's
that the
great.
premise of yours? Was he the first thought, Bert?
No, not really him. And mine would be more like draft darlings, like people I fell in love with, like Dree Archer, the dude out of Kent State, the running back, kick returner. I just remember watching his highlights, thinking there's no way that dude could fail. And then he ended up on a team with Ramon Foster. So it just sucks sometimes.
Two shots.
615-737-1045. More of your submissions on the Dream Sports documentary that would be an auto watch for you. Plus other headlines last night from the NBA Draft, where the team not too far down the road made the biggest surprise of the night. We'll dive into that next. Thursday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues as we are building our dream sports documentaries. What is one that would be a must-watch for you? Any era, any athletes, anything you got? 615-737-1045. We'll get back to that in a moment. But first, guys, number 9 overall last night, the Memphis Grizzlies make Zack Edey the newest Memphis center. Good pick or bad pick?
I like the pick. I don't know why Memphis seems to be getting crushed for it. Seriously. I of course, if you're a Tennessee fan like Will, you're going to find all kinds of ways to poke holes in his game.
That's not the Tennessee fan part of it for me.
He's a very solid player. Now, I do understand that there needs to be some development. He's a big dude, so he probably gets away with a lot of stuff naturally. They'll start to tone it in, make sure that his footwork's right. He can be physical. In today's game, bigs have to be able to shoot outside of the lane, outside of the paint. His ability to maybe even get himself out of situations, putting the ball on the floor wouldn't be a bad situation for a 7-footer. You know what I mean? We've seen Victor Wembanyama go coast to coast, and this dude is a perimeter shooter, more dangerous sometimes than guard. So if he can, bring on that part of his game, it would just add layers to what they already have. And think about it. You don't think John Morant would love to have, somebody that could draw attention down low so that way he can start attacking the rim like he loves to do? I mean, and I know that Zack Edey is at least good on the pick and roll. So there's a lot of value in a guy like that. Big physical dude. He's not just, like a wiry frame guy. Like, is Zachary Visionaire? Is he 7 feet? Is he 7 feet? I think he's like 6'11", 7 feet. Either way, he's not slight of frame like that. This is a thick dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not slight by any means.
Exactly.
You're right.
So I like the pick. Kayla, what about you?
I was a little surprised how high he went. I didn't think he'd go that high. I just think there's a lot to be determined on how his game translates to the NBA. And, good. If they thought that was the fit there, then they thought that was a fit because they had other choices, right? I mean, he's definitely one of those guys you knew was going to go in the first round, but I was a little surprised when I heard his name be called that quick. And I'm partial. I'm not a Tennessee fan, but I was a little, surprised when I did see Dalton Knecht slip that far. But yeah, I think watching Edey, I think there's things that you could say, okay, he will continue to build on his game. You did see that at Purdue. I will give him credit that his game did improve, especially the last couple of years. And if that continues to trend as he makes the transition into the league, I think that he can be successful. But there are question marks there in terms of how that will translate. So I think mine is yet to be determined on if I think this will be a good pick. But I don't think it's like, the most awful pick in the world.
Right.
I just was a little skeptical of how early he went.
It's a reach. 7'5", 298. I don't think he's agile enough. I don't think he's a fit in the NBA. I think it's a bad pick. But it has nothing to do with the Tennessee part of it. Again, I'm not an NBA expert. I will never claim to be. And Ron Slay is one, and he'll join us at 9:20 this morning.
To hear his take.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
we'll
really
get his thoughts. Back to sports documentaries. Actually, Bert, no, you give me your take. You're more of an NBA person.
No, I was just going to say the Grizzlies ranked 24th in rebounds last year. Yeah. So having somebody like the same size as Boban could really help them get the ball back, get some extra shots. Maybe he doesn't take a lot of shots his rookie year, but he's going to help them get more shots.
Fair.
Got a text from Austin Stanley, A to Z Sports, on the sports documentary he would commission, a Shiano Sunday documentary.
Oh my
1000%.
gosh. Wouldn't that be wild?
Would be outstanding.
Hey, Bert, can I give another Ramon suggestion?
Yeah, what you got?
Which actually, it's actually pretty cool. It's pretty funny. He said, Left in the Night, a Lane Kiffin and Jim Schlossnagle story.
Oh my God.
I saw Lane Kiffin
funny.
tweeted at Casey Smith, a Barstool Sports famous Texas A&M Aggie, and said, "I'm so sorry for your loss." Lane Kiffin literally tweeted that yesterday at an A&M fan.
She went off on Jim Schlossnagle.
Yeah, she did.
I think she got some
maybe it's not a documentary, but I would love to see a reality television show like Road Rules where it's just Ramon and Dave Clawson in a car having to make it work.
You're going to get him to call in again. Phil in Portland, 615-737-1045. What's up, Phil?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
Happy middle of life to everybody on this station. I listen to you every day, and I wish y'all had a night program. I'd flip it over that and double it up. Best documentary you got to add is A Football Life with Jerry Rice. I mean, that was an amazing one, man. I don't know if you ever seen his workout videos, but he was running with Emmitt Smith up a hill, and Emmitt Smith just looked like an out-of-weight, cook boy that ain't, stretched in about 20 years. I mean, this guy was amazing because his dad used to be a masonry, lay bricks and stuff, and he said on there that when he was catching those bricks and stuff, he knew that he was going to be the greatest receiver ever because there ain't no way he was going back to laying bricks. So that's my installment. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Phil.
I like it.
You can catch a brick, you can catch a football.
You know that.
Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You know what reminded me of the hill training? One day they will have to do a documentary on Derrick Henry. I just think the life of Derrick, just the fascinating things, because he's not the most public guy. But there's a lot of things he loves acting. He loves all that stuff, all the training that went on behind the scenes of Derrick Henry. Because I feel like he's got still a lot of years left in his career.
615-737-1045. More of your dream sports documentaries as we continue into hour 2. And 2 apologies involving the 2 teams of the College World Series Championship yesterday. We got that for you next.
7:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I am Robert Walsh. Thank you for everybody that came out to Game Terminal last night. We had a blast playing games, had good drink, had good food. If you didn't get to check it out, you definitely should. Game Terminal at such a dope spot. Plenty of pinball machines. Whatever you're into, they've definitely got it. Night one of the NBA Draft was last night. Plenty of surprises. Zack Edey going 9th overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. SEC Player of the Year Dalton Knecht falling all the way down to the Lakers at 17. But night two starts tonight. It's the first year they've done the split with separate nights for the NBA Draft, starting with the Toronto Raptors at pick number 31. Some top talent remaining on the board. Kyle Filipowski out of Duke, but Bronny James did not hear his name called on night one. Lakers sitting at 55 overall. That is the 25th pick in the second round with an opportunity to draft LeBron's son. Two big deals in the NBA got done yesterday as well. The Heat and Bam Adebayo, a three-time All-Star, three-time All-Defensive Player, reached a 3-year, $166 million deal, and free agent OG Anunoby signing a 5-year, $212 million deal with the Knicks. They traded the Raptors for him mid-season in the middle of last season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2, 7 a.m. in Nashville on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW, Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, Will Bowling. In 15 minutes, Coach Dave McGinnis joins us. You can join us on the phones at 615-737-1045 in the F&M Bank chat, watching the show on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. We've been talking this morning about sports documentaries. Build your dream one. And we'll get back to a couple of your phone calls coming up here in just a moment. You can tweet yours as well to us at Ramon Kayla Will. In the meantime, though, guys, there were 2 apologies yesterday to a couple of different representatives of the 2 teams that were in the College World Series Championship Series. This was Greg McElroy of McElroy and Kublik down at our sister station in Birmingham, Jocks. They do a great job covering all things SEC. And Greg McElroy apologizing to Tony Vitello and Tennessee baseball after his comments earlier this week.
I want to start by just apologizing to Tony Vitello and the Tennessee Volunteers. What took a shot at him yesterday, and it wasn't necessary. My frustrations about where we're at society boiled over. It was unnecessary. Yesterday should have been a day of celebration of what Tennessee accomplished on the baseball field, as opposed to a streaming consciousness, basically diatribe about all the things that are bothering me right now in my personal life and all the things that are bothering me right now with where we're at in society. So apologize to Tony Vitello, apologize to Tennessee fans, to Tennessee baseball program, and know that I'm as happy for you for bringing it home last night or 2 nights ago as anybody that wears crimson and white in their college experience. So happy for that, and it wasn't the right place or time, so I want to make sure everybody understands that I'm very, very sorry, and I will celebrate with you moving forward as opposed to being frustrated by little nitpicking moments that might have rubbed me the wrong way. So I really, really apologize. It wasn't right, and it won't happen again.
Greg McElroy, apology for Tennessee baseball.
First of all, okay, the things that are going on in society, not to be rude, Greg, but like there's a lot of bigger issues that are going on in society than Tony Vitello crowd surfing. I'm sorry. Like, I just felt like that was a weird apology. And let's be honest too, like, you're not happy that Tennessee won a national championship. Like, you're a Bammer. So don't also say things that you probably really don't mean. I get it. He apologized. Good for him. But it just was a little weird to me.
Well, there was nothing else that he could say. And the way that he said it was about as eloquent as you can in that situation where you've stepped in it and you're trying to get it off your shoe.
Don't step in it.
Well, it's too late now. You've already got the poo on your foot. So now what do you do?
It's still, the cracks are still, they got poo in the cracks.
Put it this way, your shoe's going to stink. It is what it is. Until you get that hose out and get in them crevices, it's going to be in there, right? So either way, I think that him trying to deal with the situation.
Day, so I'm picturing it.
It's going to be a minute before we put this in the rear view, but there was nothing else really that he could say. As far as the sincerity of his apology, I didn't hear anything that didn't sound remorseful, and as far as his well wishes for the program, he could have missed me on that, whatever. But the fact that he knew that he opened his mouth and he inserted that poopy colored foot into it, that he had to deal with that. And and maybe someone had to bring it to his attention. Dude, that's not a good look. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've been looking at the responses to what you said, but it's not a good look and you need to address it. So then making him realize the error of his ways, to reverse himself and to go back and say, hey, look, in that moment, I took a shot.
Right.
It was unnecessary. It was untimely. I mean, he kind of fell on his sword. I mean, as someone, if he was saying that to me, I would say, well, apology accepted. And I just keep it moving.
Yeah, I like his work. I've said that from before this started. I like his work. I think he's a great broadcaster. I think he's professional, but this has really derailed. I think I'll just have to have him kind of earn it back in a way. I just thought that was a foul shot yesterday.
Man, this is so weak. This is so weak, man. Oh, my. You're not allowed to have opinions? Why? He didn't call Tony's dad ugly. He didn't make fun of anybody in his family. He didn't talk about, that's why you're not married, you Italian single. He didn't come at him at all. He's apologizing like he committed a crime. You're on sports radio. You're allowed to have opinions. If you didn't like it, good. Who cares?
Then he shouldn't apologize.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you apologizing for this? This is so weak. Sorry, guys. I feel really bad because this is my view. Right. Shut up. You don't feel bad at all. Somebody in your boss's office didn't like this and was like, you got to come out and say something. This is so weak, man. If you have an opinion, just stand on it. Say, I'm tired of it. Tony, come on, man. Act with some class. Double down. Be the WWE superstar that you're making fun of him for being. This was so... When I saw this yesterday, I thought the first part was really dumb. Don't get me wrong. But this was even dumber. I just don't know. If you're going to step in it, track it through the house. Yeah. Greg, run that thing all through there. They're going to be mad anyway. You're going to have to get the Swiffer out anyway. Go ahead and track it. Let them know where you've been. Go in the attic with it. I don't care.
Lick it off your shoe.
Do what you got to do. This was... This was weak.
Kayla, good Lord.
All right, so better apology, that or Jim Schlossnagle apologizing to Richard Zane of TexAgs.com. This is the new baseball coach at Texas, apologizing to the reporter that asked him about his future in Aggieland and was scolded for it after the fact on Monday's national title game.
When the game ended, I want to publicly apologize to Richard Zane from TexAgs. He's a young reporter. He asked the question. That was an obvious question. I wish I could have answered that better.
You could have.
But in the moment, 30 minutes after the last pitch, all I could think about was our players. And I really wasn't in the mood to talk about myself or the future. So I apologize for that to Richard.
Better apology, Greg McElroy or Jim Schlossnagle?
Well, Kayla and I were talking about this, while you were getting coffee during the break. He might have some business to stand on because it wasn't new news, the fact that Texas had been courting him. It wasn't new news about the relationship that he had with the AD. And if that's a point of contention, this conversation, like he said, was what? An obvious question. This had been in the works before they even left for Omaha. Richard could have asked that question any time before that.
It's the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if that's circulating, if it's been rumored that you are interested in the Texas job, and maybe it is because of the relationship you have with the AD, you could have asked that on Tuesday last week. You could have asked that Saturday. You could have asked that question any time but the one that you did when this man is obviously sullen because he lost 30 minutes before that. Now, I'm not making excuses for him going off and taking personal shots and all this other stuff, but the fact that the question maybe was, in not in good timing, especially if this wasn't such a new news story that he felt he needed to break. Everybody knew it.
Yeah, the whole thing is just so weird how it went down. And his apology, I think I said yesterday, he's going to have to give some sort of statement. Well, he clearly gave a verbal statement. And it didn't seem really believable to me. I don't really think he cares in terms of berating the reporter. I really don't. To me, it was like, I have to say it. I'll apologize, right? But it seems a little disingenuous. Disingenuous,
yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like that whole situation was handled so poorly. He could have said, again, and it would have been a story, Brad, you're right. It would have been a story no matter what because he ended up leaving the next day. But if he just would have said, hey, guys, this is about the team right now. Hey, Richard, this is about the team right now. I don't want to talk about me and my future at this moment, so hopefully you can respect that. End of story. It would have been a story the next day, yeah, because he left, but it wouldn't have been about Richard. Now Richard's got involved. So
and Montgomery. They're waiting for your response too, Bert, on the chat.
Yeah, guys, I got an email from corporate, and I would like to apologize. I just my emotions got the better of me, and my feelings in society just kind of overblowed there. And I'd like to issue an apology to Greg McElroy and the show, Cumulus as a whole, and I will work on it, and it won't happen again.
Well played, sir.
I think both apologies are fair. I think Greg McElroy. We say enough things into a microphone. Sometimes you make your own personal bias go into something, and
sure.
I think the classless part of what Greg McElroy said is what he's trying to walk back. So I think they're both fine. I accept both. Move on.
You're funny, Bert.
Coming up next, Coach Dave McGinnis will join us. Our weekly visit with Titans Radio's head coach is next.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe on the first floor of your home comes from your crawl space? Have you ever looked in your crawl space? I get it. Most of us don't have a desire to look, but moisture in your crawl space can create unhealthy issues that can make their way into the air you breathe every day in your home. Hi, this is Ramon Foster, and this is where United Structural Systems can help. USS has been keeping homes dry and stable in Middle Tennessee since 1994, so you know they aren't going anywhere. Help control moisture and musty smells with crawl space encapsulation and the USS lifetime guarantee. Encapsulation helps reduce high humidity in your crawl space, helps deter mold and mildew, and protects your crawl space from pests and wood rot. So do what thousands of satisfied homeowners have done too. Call USS and ask about their crawl space encapsulation products. Call 615-492-2226. That's 615-492-2226. Or you can find them online at USSTN.com.
Thursday morning continues on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, RKW. And when you hear this music, it can only mean one thing. Time to visit with Coach Mack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford, Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, joined by Titans Radio's head coach. Coach Mack, what's up?
Hey, guys. Everything's good. I'm on kind of a little mini Mac Over America tour here, doing some clinics and stuff. So always make time, though, to come on. I stay in the continental U.S., so I can stay in touch.
Mac Over America. I love it. Coach, I was curious if you were invited to go down there with Will Levis and all the skill players to Cabo.
I did not make that cut. But if I was going to throw the ball around, I think I'd go to Cabo to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Coach Mack, how much value is there in having quarterback spending time with his weapons like that? Just how much do you think Brian Callahan, his coaching staff, will be happy with those guys continuing to work together here in this month before training camp?
Well, I mean, in my experience, I think one of the biggest things of it is the quarterback organized it. I mean, and that's what you like because, and especially, I mean, this is a new team, and it's a new team in a lot of ways. First of all, it's very evident that you've got a new coaching staff, but you've got a lot of new players coming together, veteran players, and then, the newer players that are coming in. And so any type of bonding like that you can do before you really get into the grind of what the season is helps. And especially with this offense that is being implemented now up there at the Titans. I mean, they're going to spin the ball. They're going to throw the ball around, and so I think it's very valuable. My experience when I was coaching, when the players would do this, and the quarterback would organize something like this, it's beneficial.
Coach Mack, how much communication as a position coach are you having with the guys under your leadership in this month? I know we talk a lot about coaches and just everyone in this league getting a rare time to unplug and just really get a break before training camp starts, but how much input and ongoing dialogue is there between a position coach and his guys as they spend this month away?
It depends on the seniority and the experience of your room individually. As a head coach, I always encourage my assistant coaches to stay in touch, with their players, not be overbearing, don't be a helicopter parent, but at least just, touch base, see how they're doing. There's a lot of guys that have pre-programmed programs that they're sent away with, when they're away from the facility for 5 weeks to maintain the conditioning that they're going to be in. It's a good idea always to kind of have a touch point with all of your guys, just so you're not surprised by anything coming back from this time of year, which I have been, and all of us that have coached in this league have been at times. There's something that surprises you, both good and bad sometimes when the players come back. But yeah, I always encouraged it as an assistant coach and as a coordinator. I always did it. It's just, it's don't be overbearing, but just to be in touch. And also, I'd have players get in touch with me just, periodically. Look, you've got 5 weeks now. It used to be a lot longer. It used to be a lot longer time between the time when you saw them and the time when they came back. I first got into the league. First time we ever saw the players after the playoffs was the 3-day mini camp after the draft. And then they were gone until you went to camp, but you were going to camp for 5 and 6 weeks back then and going away. So that has changed a little bit, but the communication, it never, ever hurts to communicate with your people.
He is Dave McGinnis, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, joining us here on the show. And we talk a lot about rookies, J.C. Latham, rookies, Tavondre Sweat, rookies, Cedric Gray. But how about rookie head coach Brian Callahan, coach? Why does Brian not give me the feel of someone that is new to this job? It seems like he's almost born for this moment.
Yeah, B-Hop, and that's a good point because, you look at his, a fairly young age. And of course, guys are getting head jobs at a lot younger ages now in the league, but they're coming into the league a lot earlier. Again, I can just go back to my experience when I came into the league. There were 7 and 8 coaches on the staff. So it took you a while to get into the league just because the opportunities weren't there. now with the larger staffs, and plus, I mean, his dad is a very accomplished coach in this league, has been for a long time, and he was brought up in this league. I mean, he's got 12 years or more experience in this league before he ever got the chance to be a head coach. So, I mean, 12 years in the league at this young age. So the issue now is not so much age, it's experience that you bring to it at a younger age, and the way the National Football League has evolved with, first of all, more opportunities, and second of all, just the mindset, of ownership as far as who they're willing to turn the reins over to. That has changed. But I mean, he's a lifer. I mean, he really is. He's a football lifer because he's come up in it. He was probably in locker rooms, about the time that he knew how to act right, and I'm sure his dad had him acting right every locker room he was in. So he's a lifer in this business, even at a young age.
Coach, a lot has gone on at 460 Great Circle Road since John Robinson stepped down as the general manager. Are we talking enough about what Ran Carthon has put together so far?
Yeah, I think we are. I mean, and of course, it's an ongoing process, and Rand would be the first one to tell you that, this job is by no means. I mean, he's just started in on this job, and especially retooling and reworking this. Not only the talent level, but just reworking, the mindset, as far as that he and now Brian Callahan want to instill up there. I mean, there's pretty drastic changes. I mean, this is going to be a drastic change offensively, B-Hop, from anybody that's ever been involved with the Oilers/Titans franchise has been used to offensively. I mean, you can reference this. I mean, it's been a running back centric offense, since Earl Campbell and then Eddie George and CJ2K and then Derrick Henry. And so this is a pretty big switch, just an offensive mindset to begin with. But Rand would be the first one to tell you. And I know Rand very, very well that he's only begun on this journey with this franchise.
Coach Mack joined us this morning on RKW. So we've talked a lot about the offensive line, and you've watched a lot of the offensive line in OTAs and mandatory minicamp. The right side, specifically right tackle, we have not seen Nicholas Petit-Frere out there. Obviously, he's still kind of nursing an injury from what we think is last season. But when he does get out there, and people are hoping it will be for training camp, and you are in pads, what's the expectations in terms of the timeline for being able to get back in the groove for him in such a vital position that seems to be a wide open battle?
Well, that's up to him, and it is. I mean, to me, this left side of the offensive line from the center out, from what I can ascertain, and you're right. I spent all of my time with the offensive line this off season because, first of all, I wanted to watch Bill Callahan work, in detail, and the second is, I mean, I think the development of this offensive line, just my opinion, and the development of this quarterback are two huge events for this football team this year, going into this season. I think from a center out, the left side is pretty much determined. The right side is completely wide open. And so I don't think there's any expectations. I think it's up to each of those guys, Nicholas Petit-Frere being one of them. I mean, they're going to have to earn a spot because I promise you this, Bill Callahan has given nobody a spot. All you got to do is watch him work and see what he demands of his guys just in a 45-minute individual period that I watched, for 5 weeks. They're going to have to earn it. And so I don't think any expectations are anywhere. It's going to be what those guys, whoever ends up at the right guard and the right tackle to start the season, that's all going to be earned. And it's going to start when the pads come on. So I don't have any expectations. I just want to see who's going to step up and be consistent. Because you got an offensive lineman right there in the room with you consistency was his hallmark all the years that he played. And that's what you're looking for in that offensive line, especially. That's what they're trying to develop now, especially try to find two other guys that can step in at that level on the right side. And it's going to take a while to find them.
When you talk about the defense, not up front, but the back end, it looks like the corner positions and the depth there, we see it. At safety, I am curious to get your take on what they have right now. We know Amani Hooker. He's been here a while. Elijah Molden is starting to get healthy, but has not really been a constant contributor because of those injuries. Coach, would you, if you're ahead of an organization, would you look at that and say, hey, we probably need to add another veteran presence?
Well, they said they wanted to, but there's got to be two things that happen with free agency this late. I mean, clearly the free agency that's happening this late is there's whoever the candidate is. Kayla, the hang-up is probably compensation because you're talking about a veteran player and you're talking about a veteran player that's going to move. And so, that is the hang-up. I think there's some veteran guys out there still that could contribute, but you've got to be sure because, look, they're building this football team right now. And you don't want to just, you cannot be ready, fire, aim, trying to build this thing like they're trying to build it from the bottom up again. And by that, I mean, you don't want to go give an outlandish contract that's only going to last for a year, then all of a sudden get you in the same cap hell that you were in, for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think it's got to be a give and take on both parties if they want to bring somebody else in at that safety position. Yes, I think they probably would like to have a veteran safety, but at the right moment and the right place and the right, not only price, but the right fit for the club and for the player.
Coach Dave McGinnis with us Thursdays here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, presented by Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mac, Jeffrey Simmons talked about playing the Chicago Bears week 1, the attention that will be around them. Hard Knocks following Chicago this year. I know in 2016 when you were with the Rams, Hard Knocks showcased the Rams in that offseason. What will that attention be like for Chicago going into week 1 against the Titans, and how will that impact a rookie quarterback who will have every move watched and followed, and just what that process is like with Hard Knocks this offseason?
Well, Caleb Williams has had that. I mean, look, he played at Southern Cal. He's had that focus on him, since high school. That I don't, Hard Knocks is it really depends on the individual. The guys that want to be professional about it, they ignore that. They ignore the camera. They just go to work and let the cameras capture what they want to capture. You can't play. You can't. The one thing that we told our guys, before Hard Knocks, we ever agreed to do it. You can't play to the camera. Don't do that. Just let's get our business done. And I will say this about Hard Knocks: it's as intrusive as you let it be in your mind, because those people that do it, they know what they're doing. They work for the National Football League. They're not in there for a get-em documentary. They're not trying to get you at any one point. They're just trying to document things that go on. They were with us all year. They stayed with us all through the year, all until Jeff Fisher was let go. So we had a whole experience with them, but they never were intrusive. And the other thing is, you need to understand, you've got full editorial control on anything before anything ever goes out. Jeff Fisher and I we always saw the preview, before it was ever even released. And so that, worrying about them being intrusive, that should be the furthest thing from your mind. And so, up there in Chicago, I think Caleb Williams has been exposed to a lot out there at SC, because SC and UCLA are just not very far from Hollywood. And there's a lot of exposure out there.
Coach, back in the day, the Cowboys and the Oilers had an agreement to do joint practice, I think almost every single year, which culminated in a Burger Field situation in Austin, Texas, that then featured a preseason game that we always played against them. We took it so seriously that we took our game jerseys to the practice. They always showed up in their practice gear, and that was when they were winning back-to-back championships. I bring that up because of the importance, I think, of joint practices, and I wanted to get your thoughts about that as, excuse me, the Titans are getting set to work with the Seahawks. How vital or revealing are joint practices for you as a staff?
B-Hop, those are excellent points. I agree with you. I think it's one of the most valuable tools you can have as a coach and as a player. Not only a young player, but a veteran player too, because here's what you get when you have those practices. First of all, coaches can determine how you're going to work, because see, when you go into a preseason game, you're never guaranteed that if you put your ones out there that you're going to be competing against somebody else's ones. That's number one. In practice, you can. The other thing is you can script exact one-on-ones that you want. You can script matchups you want. You can script schemes that you want to work on. Coaching staffs agree with this. And then the players yourself, and as you said, I mean, you're testing yourself against because there's a lot of pride involved when you start working teams against teams for those. It's normally 2 practices, and to me, it's going to become even more prevalent now, just because of the 3 preseason games. I mean, the Rams are working 4 of these things this year, and I think you're going to see that being more and more prevalent. As a coach, all of the years that we experienced it, when I first went with the Bears, we were up there in Platteville, Wisconsin, in the Cheese League, where there were 6 teams within that Wisconsin school system that were in that, and we would travel, or they would travel to us. It's invaluable, not only to hone your skills, but it's invaluable for being able to watch your players against somebody else's number ones, and the evaluation part of it and the experience part of it is really, really important. We're going to see more of it now, especially, as I said, it's the 3 preseason games. And if the 18th game comes into being, which it will sooner or later, you're going to see even more of it.
Coach Dave McGinnis joins us Thursdays here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, presented by Two Rivers Ford Cheese League, making me very hungry before 8 a.m. this morning. Coach Mack, thank you as always.
Coach Mack.
Guys, it's always a pleasure being with you. See you, B-Hop. See you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Coach Dave McGinnis with us this morning. Always interesting, I think, the process of just the NFL taking time off, because that is such a foreign concept to so many coaches and players and people like Coach Mack who can do things like Mack around America.
Especially when it's so annual like it is now. Football doesn't ever really take a break. Even the minutia of the sport, when it's not even regular season or games being played, it kind of makes sense to track it. And you're right, it is kind of crazy for us to kind of, at this point of at this part of the year when we're not really having anything to talk about because there are no practices, the families are now taking an opportunity to kind of, take advantage of this time that they have, because once late July hits, the 24th, see you, Dad. He's off to work, and the season gets started.
Coming up next, ESPN.com had all of their NFL Nation reporters give one player on each team who you should know going into camp. Players that have surprised their coaches and teammates the most so far within the offseason program. And ESPN's Teron Davenport, who is the best of the best, in our opinion, covering the Titans, gave an interesting pick that not just Titans fans will be familiar with so far, that has been the surprise player of the Titans offseason program. We got that for you next. Thursday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues. RKW with Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, and Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. So ESPN.com has given a surprise player of every team's offseason workouts. Teron Davenport of ESPN.com writes that former Vol Gabe Judy Lally is his pick, undrafted free agent, who Teron says took full advantage of available reps due to veterans Chidobe Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed having limited participation during OTAs in minicamp, saying his length and comfort and press coverage gave him confidence playing in Denard Wilson's aggressive scheme. Pretty good pick as the surprise of the Titans offseason program so far?
I would think so. He stood out to me visiting camp practices, and he's exactly right. With L'Jarius Sneed not being out there for most of the practices in terms of drills and all of that, he did get a lot of opportunities to get reps, and not just get reps, but make opportunities of it. Like, he had a couple interceptions, right? Like, he did some things to stand out. And what I loved about him, because we talked to him on the final day of OTAs, and really carries himself well, doesn't seem like the moment is too big for him in any way. And I think that is definitely somebody depth-wise in that cornerback room to keep an eye on in training camp, because he's made the most of his opportunity up to this point. Now it's going to be harder to do that when you're guessing, he won't get as many reps, but he's on their radar now.
Yeah, a lot of dudes in those spots, though. I mean, other than the starters that you mentioned, L'Jarius Sneed and, of course, Cheeto, people that have actually spent money on. There are guys that were in that exact same situation that Gabe is in that are still on this roster. Trey Avery is another guy that was brought in here as a college free agent.
It didn't look great. Right. Let me remind people the last few weeks of that.
Anthony Kendall, another dude.
Has been not healthy.
And some of these guys, will be teams guys, right? And you have to have that kind of depth to be able to go down there and cover, get good field position, do whatever is necessary to kind of make the team. And he'll be one of these guys that we talk about that. Just, I just think that there are fewer opportunities in a position that they've obviously addressed through free agency. And, you got to take advantage of it whenever you can get it. Whenever you get on the football field, man, those opportunities are few and far between. So,
yeah. And I agree. I mean, it's up for anybody in terms of the depth of the cornerback room, which, by the way, you can never have too much of, because we have seen in the past few years with the Titans, specifically in that position, they have succumbed to injury more than I've seen of many other positions. And it's always like, okay, next man up. Okay, where are we at now? Are we signing guys? And you mentioned Trey Avery, who has been on this team for a minute, battling for a spot that he's had to stand up and be plugged in positions because of injuries. And Anthony Kendall, who you got some opportunity toward the end of last year as well because of that. But those are both guys that are not guaranteed anything. So I think for Gabe, it's really in his court. Do you want to, what you can show? You have an opportunity to make at least the practice squad, but maybe be a part of the depth on this roster.
Vandy Chris on YouTube says, don't forget Judy Lally was a Commodore and a Cougar before he was a Vol. Don't be homers. Well, where you finish is always where you are known as being a player of. Like, Dalton Knecht is not getting drafted as a Northern Colorado player.
Right.
He's being drafted as a Tennessee player. It's just the way this has always worked. So, no homerism about it. It's just kind of how it goes when you transfer. I think Judy Lally is a great pick. Teron Davenport, obviously, we give him a ton of credit, as we should. He does a great job covering the Titans. I think that's an excellent one. Obviously, I wasn't at workouts, but I feel like we got a lot of Jaquan Jackson conversation out of mini camp at OTAs and all of that. The rookie wide receiver out of Tulane. Would love it if that's a guy that could contribute not just in special teams, but at the wide receiver position for this team. So I think another one that will be interesting to watch. 615-737-1045 is our number. We've been asking for your dream sports documentaries throughout the show. A lot of good submissions for this on Twitter. Let's go to Andy in Nashville. Been waiting to chime in on his 615-737-1045. What's up, Andy?
So in at the end of the 1990 MLB season, the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins were the worst teams in AL and NL. And then they turn it all around and go worst to first, which be the name of the documentary, to go to what was arguably the best World Series ever. And my Minnesota Twins won it, and I'll never forget where I sat in the dorms at Liberty University, where I met a Braves fan who I later dated, and it was all started because we had a bet over who won the World Series, and the winner would take the loser on a date.
That's cool.
I like it.
That's
Thank
great,
you,
Andy. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah,
There's
right.
not a lot of baseball documentaries out there. When you look through at least a 30 for 30, there's a ton of NFL, right? There's a ton of football, but that would be a kind of fun one, niche one.
You're right about the baseball documentaries. Real quick, who's the Cuban kid that oh my gosh.
Recently
Recently. He's a young guy too.
Okay.
Has a mohawk, big thick dude, played for the Dodgers.
Yasiel Puig.
Oh,
Yasiel
Puig.
Puig. Yeah. That's a story.
It is.
There are a lot of baseball.
Disappeared.
There are 14 baseball 30 for 30s, actually.
Yeah.
I know.
There are a
I
ton.
just feel like there's so many more untold stories though in baseball. And maybe that's because the sport I love, but
You Don't Know Bo was a good one. 4 Nights in October, which is my favorite. The 2004 Red Sox and Yankees one. Dion's double play of Deion Sanders
one
going
was
between
good.
the Braves and the Atlanta Falcons.
that was really good actually.
Yeah. Doc and Daryl.
Give me more.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Catching Hell is a good one. Of the Bartman story in 03
Oh, the Barman story.
with the Cubs.
Who could ever forget that one?
615-737-1045. You can give more of your submissions to us on the documentary you would say is a must-watch on any topic. Coming up, we'll set the headlines for you from last night. You may have tuned into the NBA Draft expecting to hear Dalton Knecht's name called early. Well, it wasn't called as early as maybe you thought, but he got a good landing spot. We'll talk about that coming up next as we begin the second half of the show here on RKW.
What's going on? 8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Appreciate everybody coming out to Game Terminal last night, hanging out with us for RKW. It was a blast. Played some games, ate some food, drank some drink. It was a good time. If you couldn't check it out, you can still go check out Game Terminal. It is a sick spot. Whatever video games you're into, they've definitely got multiple of them. So many pinball machines. It was awesome. NBA Draft Night 1 last night. Plenty of surprises. Zack Edey going 9th overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. SEC Player of the Year Dalton Knecht falling to the Lakers at 17. Night 2 starts tonight with the Toronto Raptors at pick 31. Some of the top talent still remaining on the board. Kyle Filipowski out of Duke. But one man who did not hear his name called night 1, Bronny James, still waiting to be drafted. The Lakers sitting at 55 overall, the 25th pick in the second round, in prime position to draft LeBron's son. And two big deals in the NBA got done yesterday. The Miami Heat and Bam Adebayo, the three-time All-Star, reaching a 3-year, $166 million deal. Also, the Knicks signing OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212 million deal. They traded for him in the middle of the season from the Raptor. Now he's a Knick for the next 5 years. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour number 3 starts right now on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW 104.5 The Zone. Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, and Will Bowling. Coming up in 20 minutes, the RKW Draft is back. In honor of our RKW night last night at Game Terminal, we are doing best games. Open-ended. A lot of options. I was tempted to make this best video games, but I feel like that would have been more of a niche for myself and Bert, considering we are more video game people than maybe Brad and Kayla are.
Mine would just be old school. That's what would have happened with me.
So, what are you guys going to do? Like draft hopscotch and things like that?
Dodgeball?
Yeah, I'm going to mix it up.
Like technically, you could draft like football. Football is a game. You could draft hide and seek. You could draft
freeze tag.
Yeah.
Who didn't look forward to
Cornhole.
dodgeball in
I
gym
did.
every time they did it?
Anyone who was
it.
on the other team for me. I was a bully.
Oh, I know that's right, Bert. Talk about it.
Dodgeball's a good one.
No,
by the
I
way.
wasn't good. I was just a bully. I just I was one of the kids that would run up and like not try to grab balls to hit someone. I would just knock all the balls to our side.
Yeah,
I was the
yeah,
person that
you
was
were
like
that one.
seniors versus freshmen.
Sure.
I was always really good at dodgeball because there wasn't much of me to hit. So I was a moving target, but I was also just a beanpole.
It's about how you bend
turn to the side and
sometimes.
disappear.
That's right. Had to run around in the shower to get wet.
Gotta have quick instincts.
Did you guys ever have mat ball?
No.
No.
Yes.
You remember that, Bert?
Yes.
You seriously?
And
Yes.
that caused a lot of fight. Was mat ball
Right.
for you? There was a ball in the middle of a mat, and you had to take that ball to the other corner. So you're wrestling that person. Was that mat ball for you, or
Well-
was mat ball where you're on your knees for dodgeball? Because we had two
Great point.
separate kinds.
Great point. Our mat ball was those big mats that they had, the big giant ones.
Sure.
And they were placed at the four corners of the gymnasium, and you had to run from mat to mat.
Okay.
But in between that, there are guys throwing balls at you. So if you didn't make it, so the mat was safe. So you could have 5 kids on one mat, right?
Sure.
And then when you took the chance to run from one end of the court to the other, in one of those mats, dudes were trying to bean you with a ball.
Oh, man.
And the mat was the only place that was safe. It's called
Okay.
mat ball.
Gym
That was
teachers
fun.
do
Oh,
not get
this
the
does sound
respect they
fun.
deserve.
They
for the
really
game.
don't.
There was a classic we used to play called King in the Castle, which was basically dodgeball.
remember that.
But you would get put if you inside the foul shot line, so you would have to stay in there. But if someone hit inside of the backboard in that little square,
Yeah.
it would be a jailbreak, and everybody could run back. So it would be like one guy left dodging, trying to hit the middle of it. Like I would do anything to go back to school just to play old school gym class games.
I liked the parachute, the big, huge parachute that you would put out in the middle of the gym, and you'd have to keep the balls up and going.
Yeah.
I loved those parachute games.
We would always do bowling, and you would like pick up the pins yourself in like laundry hampers. You'd put them aside, and then you'd roll the ball back to whoever was bowling. Do manual. That's how you learn how to bowl.
Manual bowling.
Like learn how to score it also.
Sure.
So we'll do that coming up in 15 minutes. Last night was awesome. Appreciate all you who came out. We had a ton of listeners come out and hang out with us. I was undefeated in Mario Kart. That was great. The Fast and Furious game they have, Joe Hunk and I raced on this thing. It's like one of 10 in the world or something like this that is like a motion racing game with 4 TVs connected together. And it's $5. It's a great deal, honestly, worth every penny. Because like it takes $5 bills, and where else am I going to use cash? Nobody uses cash anymore. Right. So I was like, I've had this cash sitting around for a while. Try this out. And it moves as you steer. Like it moves the whole seat you're sitting in, like you are literally in a car that is like winding down these roads. It was so much fun.
I got motion sickness just watching y'all do that one.
I also was a little nauseous,
Seriously.
but not in like a bad way. But like for 30 seconds, I was like, woo, all right.
So I walked up
Place was so cool.
It was
I walked
really
up to
neat.
Will and Peyton yesterday, and I said, "Hey, Will, pick a game that I can whoop you in, so that way I can talk about it on the air." And so you remember how yesterday I was telling you I didn't really understand pinball, and I was kind of taking a shot at it before.
Sure.
Bert told me that there was some actual strategy that comes along with playing pinball.
Yeah.
So guess what I did? I took Will over to the pinball machine. I said, "Will, what's going on, man?"
Yeah, which one did we even do?
Yeah, I was going to say,
can't
which
remember.
one? Because there were
Which
so
one
many
was it?
cool
I did the
ones.
Frankenstein one. I did a
Okay.
We saw Dolly.
Dark
You did
Knight.
Dolly
Dolly
Parton.
one.
Peyton and I did a Dolly Parton one.
Yeah.
remember.
I did the Jaws one.
Nice.
Anyway, I will admit that, hey, Bert, I got to admit, bro, when I started whooping Will, it started getting fun.
When you winning cures
Right.
all.
Yeah.
I think that's what it
right?
was.
You're like, never done it before.
You were talking about the Jaws pinball machine. They have a modern Jaws pinball machine, and then they have the retro.
Yes.
So with all the original
Nice.
art, all the original animatronics, that was what, like you talked about how many they had. I walked around there for a solid 30 minutes just looking at the details in
Isn't
the
it
pinball
cool?
machines. It was
really
sick.
neat how they do that. And I can see why they're so expensive.
I played NFL Blitz
Yes.
and scored 2 touchdowns thrown by Steve McNair to Yancey Thigpen on NFL Blitz.
Ooh.
And Brad, you were probably on there.
Yeah.
I know Blaine talked about it. Blaine was
say
like,
he
why
needed
the
to get
heck
rid
am
of
I
it?
not on this game?
Yeah.
Was it when he went to Philly already?
Maybe.
Yeah.
He was like, they better get
But
rid
you
of
would have
this.
been the left tackle. So
Sure.
Brad, I got whooped in pinball by Brad Hopkins, and then I used Brad Hopkins on NFL Blitz
There you go.
to beat my girlfriend, who was the New York Giants at NFL Blitz. She had
Great.
no idea that game ever existed.
Does
It was
Peyton
fun.
play games too?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
615-737-1045, our number. Dalton Knecht, drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, 17th overall yesterday. The reigning SEC Player of the Year, the third player from the SEC selected behind Kentucky's Reed Shepherd, who goes third, and Kentucky's Rob Dillingham, who went 8th. How do you like the fit for Dalton in L.A.?
I love it. You know, I know that this is going to be a new era. I know that people keep talking about the carousel of head coaches that have gone through LA and the lack of success other than Tyronn Lue that they've had almost since Phil Jackson was the
Can't
coach,
keep
right?
up.
But, you know, for someone that, in my opinion, has this no-nonsense approach, really tries to instill a work ethic, not only within a staff, but the teammates that he played with. I'm talking about J.J. Redick. And the relationship that he has with LeBron. And people keep saying that shouldn't be a part of the metric. But whenever you have the most pivotal, player almost in basketball on your roster, a guy that you know is a first ballot Hall of Famer dude, face of the league kind of guy, you do have to take that in consideration. And for someone that has as limited coaching experience as J.J. Redick does, there's no way in the world he's going to be able to surpass the influence that LeBron has on that team. And now Dalton's a part of that. So he's going to innately get a lot of attention and exposure because of what that team goes through. And I also thought that there was something interesting, if I can sidebar.
Yeah.
Bronny is going to give us the feel of like Hard Knocks because I do think that whatever team considers taking LeBron James' son is going to get the media circus that comes along with that. So that might even be a part of the consideration that a team would have, whether they're going to take him at 55 today or not. Any team's got to think, well, this kid might be a G League player. forever. You know what I mean? But whatever, as long as he's tied to us as an organization, we're going to have to field questions about him because he is LeBron's son. Now, if he goes to LA, then guess what? Who's also going to be a part of that conversation? Dalton. You know what I mean? We're going to be watching this kid. And and I actually asked a question of Casey just about players like Dalton Knecht that have to go someplace like to Rick Barnes to get that coaching that makes you elite. Well, the gamble paid off. He came from Northern Colorado where he only played in 11 games as a freshman. He started all the games the next year before transferring here and playing all the games for Tennessee and getting that coaching that he needed to be able to be a top pick, regardless, Will, if he actually fell in the draft or not. Mm-hmm. I love the pick. I think the organization has got a lot to deal with, but rightfully so. It's the Lakers, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I love the pick for the Lakers because they got lucky. I mean, that he fell to 17. And I was listening to the broadcast last night on ESPN, which I feel like they all do a really good job there. Mm-hmm. Andrea Carter, former Vol or Vol for Life, whatever you want to call it, she is just rising very quickly in terms of her involvement with ESPN, specifically on the basketball side. I think she does an excellent job. But they were all saying, why is Dalton falling? Like, we're now at pick number 16, and we still haven't heard Dalton Knecht's name be called. And what I gathered from most of the analysts that they had on the show last night is the age. And from what the guys in Woj was hearing I'm hearing from upper management that there's nothing wrong. It's just the age factor. I believe he's 23, right?
Yeah,
that is correct.
And a lot of these kids, and I say kids because a lot of these picks that are going in the top 10, they're 18, 19, 20 years old. And I feel like they look at that as they're, wanting the youth and the longevity before maybe a guy like Dalton who has more of the experience and has been through a little bit more. But to me, if I'm a GM, yeah, it's all about fit. But I'm looking for a guy in certain situations that I'm going to be able to plug right in, and he's going to be able to handle that from the get-go. And I feel like Dalton Knecht is one of those guys because he has been through a lot. And yes, he's 23, but still a lot of basketball to be played. I mean, we've got guys playing in their 40s. So I look at this situation as they're really lucky to have gotten Dalton Knecht at number 17. I think it's a great fit. I think JJ Redick is only going to be able, if he is somebody who transfers over as a coach in the NBA, is going to be able to work well with a guy like Dalton.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really good fit overall.
It is a good fit, but I can also understand why he went 17 in the draft. Here's a guy that had no D1 scholarship offers, had to basically kind of cut his teeth at Northern Colorado before going for one season to Tennessee. And then that's kind of where he had his breakout year, right? So I would say that there's a smaller sample size of him competing at that level against top-notch talent like the ones that got drafted around him to say that, hey, look, this guy should be a top 10 pick. Even though we're thinking that because he was, a dominant SEC player and he kind of basically came out of nowhere. But I think that those decisions that he made to get on a different platform, they paid off because it also showed in the results of the team itself. This was an Elite Eight team with the help of a guy that made the decision to come get that hard coaching from Rick Barnes.
Big O on Twitter says, it is amazing how both pro franchises pass on local talent and go with the enemy. Both use age as a factor. They know how to alienate a fan base. Can we please not? Can we please not?
If the Titans drafted Hooker, they would not have a quarterback right now.
Can we please not? The GMs do not care. They do not care. It is not a GM's job to pander to Vols fans. Can we please stop the entitlement, Tennessee fans, of like, oh, well, Memphis, they should want more Vols fans. They should draft Knecht. No, you draft the best player. That's the best fit for you. They do not care that Dalton Knecht went to Tennessee. They care about the best prospect, nor should they care. It is not Memphis Grizzlies GM's job to draft a Vol just to make all of you happy who are Grizzlies fans. It is not Rand Carthon's job to draft Hendon Hooker just to make you happy and put butts in the seats. A GM's job in a dog-eat-dog world is to pick the best player that is going to allow them to win so they can keep that job.
Unless they draft Bronny James because to make LeBron happy.
615-737-1045. Can we please not? Thank you so much. Coming up next, the RKW Draft games. It's a broad topic. We're going to draft the best ones next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. To all my facility managers out there, how are your plumbing fixtures doing? Do you have any clogs in a sink or two? Maybe you got a project that you've been putting off for a little while, a long list of things that you got to work on. Maybe there's just an annoying leak or inconsistent hot water when you need it the most. Well, no matter your plumbing problem, the team at Leak Company is here to help. For over 80 years, their expert technicians have been here to make your life easier and keep your place of business running efficiently. Listen, Leak Company, this is your one-stop shop. You give them your to-do list as a homeowner, as a facility manager. They're not only going to take care of all of it professionally, efficiently, they're going to do it at any time of day, any time of the week. When problems pop up, Leak Company is there to help. Available 24/7, 365. Call Leak Company today at 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leakcompany.com. That's 615-567-1000. Leak Company, all you need. RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will right here on 104.5 The Zone continues. Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, Will Bowling. We've got the RKW Draft coming up in seconds. Best games is a very broad topic. First, we go to the phones because we saw our guy last night.
Yeah.
Micah at Nolensville in the building for RKW at Game Terminal. He is on the phones right now. What's up, Micah?
All right, so I wanted to talk about a little bit with the Tennessee Volunteers. There's some people that are saying Tony Vitello was playing, acting like a kid too much. They just don't like how the Tennessee Volunteers are the best baseball team in college baseball. The Tennessee Volunteers win. No one wants to admit it, but the Vols are on top, and Rocky Top is at the summit.
Woo! Get him, Micah. At the summit. Could go a lot of ways with that.
Micah at Nolensville bringing it.
Man.
Absolutely bringing it.
He's such a pro. I actually talked with Micah for over 30 minutes because I just like talking to him because he has so much knowledge and you are a kid respectfully, Micah, but that's a really good compliment, I should say. If I can talk to you for 30 minutes as a kid.
I love it.
I actually moved past Allison to talk to Micah yesterday.
That's awesome.
I totally didn't realize it was
Allison
her
is our
standing
boss,
there.
by the way.
Yeah.
Those who don't know.
Totally meant to say hello, but got so drawn into the fact that this young
great.
phenom was standing in front of me. He's going to take one of our jobs one day.
Right? He is so mature that I cussed multiple times talking to him. And I would be like, bleep, sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway, so talking, bleep. Sorry again, dude. You're just so chill, man.
So
I know.
You're just so chill.
Yeah.
I know.
Very mature guy.
One of the guys.
He's awesome.
I love it. All right, it is time for the RKW Draft. This is our fourth installment. Kayla has a 2-1 lead on Ramon for most draft wins at this point of the summer. A summer Thursday tradition. Mm-hmm. Here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Last week we had best things to do with no sports on. Playing video games was one of Robert's picks. Actually, it was Robert's first pick.
Yeah.
Today we have best games. This is maybe our broadest topic we have done yet.
Oh.
Of yard games, tailgate games, video games, recess games, anything of the like. Kayla will get the first pick. I was second last week. I'll go second. Bert third, and Brad, I'm sorry, you're representing Ramon, who was not present last week, so you're fourth.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you get 2 picks in a row. So
no, it's okay, Brad. Look, Brad, it's all right. We can trade. Brad can. I hereby trade Brad all of my picks for all of his picks
because he wants the snake part of this.
No, I'll tell you.
It's not bad to go for it.
I know.
So I'm staying right where I'm at.
Snake draft 4 rounds. We'll put out a graphic afterwards. You vote on who had the best team. We keep it open for 24 hours. The winner picks first next week, and that is Kayla, who has the first pick again.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell I'm going to go with this week because it is broad. And so I could just go and dig into my childhood and go that way, or I could do things that relate to everybody at every age. So there is where I will start, folks. Because I do feel, now you should be 21 to probably play this with alcohol, but I will say you can play it in your college years, maybe your high school years, and you can play it until you're in your upper years. And it's a game that I feel like you could have at parties, you could have at tailgates, you can have at family reunions if you are those type of...
We know what it is.
I'm loving this. I'm soaking it in.
All this for spin the bottle. It's amazing.
It in.
Come on.
Beer pong.
Interesting. I did not have that on my board.
Was that what you thought?
Is not what I wrote.
That is 100% what I thought.
Okay.
Because I feel like you creep in and steal my picks every single week.
I'm like a cockroach.
Oh, God, too soon.
That's getting cut.
I am dealing with those. That's why I'm moving
This
today.
is where he gets all his cuts from me. So I should just go silent on this.
And there's another one, Bert. Okay. My first pick is one of the easiest picks I've ever made in the RKW Draft. It's such a good video game that we have been playing it for 10 straight years in anticipation for the new one that comes out in 21 days. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is NCAA football video game.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Unfortunately, because of the greed of some former athletes, we've not had an NCAA football game until this year. But NCAA football video game, number one. It's where I've spent most of my time. When I get to heaven, you'll get a lot of stats, right? Like the amount of times you did this or the amount of hours you spent watching football. The amount of, like, I would love in the afterlife, like, stats on our lives. I don't want to know how many hours I've spent playing the NCAA football video game. I think it'd be kind of embarrassing.
Fair.
Robert Walsh.
I don't even want to play anymore.
Come on, Bert.
Oh, Bert.
Let's go, B.
Y'all just draft all my picks. I don't have the snake pick. This is lame. I'm going to go. This was pretty high on my board, but you know what? I'm not even caring about the rankings anymore. I've come in last in every single one of these. I'm doing this for me. If I was on a desert island, what 4 games can I play with myself? The first one I'm going to go with is Super Smash Brothers.
Such a good pick.
I played the crap out of this. Anybody who has played it will instantly be like, I play best with Link. I play best with Samus. I don't care what any of you guys play as because I play as Kirby. So,
of course you do. Of course you do.
So have fun getting rocked. So Super Smash Brothers is my first pick.
You want to guess who my character was real quick?
I would guess that you were a Samus or a Fox.
Samus was my original, but I am the Pikachu guy. I am the guy doing the down B of Pikachu with the lightning bolt.
It's so lame.
You stand under someone and just keep doing the down B, the down B, the down B.
It's hard for me to call anything lame playing Kirby, but yes, I get it.
All right, Brad.
So I'm definitely going to show my age, and I'm also going out of left field when I do this one. I'm not going to be as long as Kayla Burt on my intro too.
I'm going to do what I want.
I love it.
For 9 minutes though.
Listen,
we do have break times on the show.
My wife is listening, and the reason why I picked this game is because her and we are awesome together.
Okay.
God, what a pick, dude. How did this not end up on my list?
Wait, you already know?
I'm going to guess.
I want to hear your guess.
Is it Spades?
Oh, my God!
I bet you're a hell of a Spades player, dude.
Oh, my gosh.
Get out of my head, dude.
Good work.
What a great pick.
Good work.
That was like
How did you do that?
Because as soon as you said you and your wife were a good pair, because I am a terrible pair with Cheyenne, because she always asks. Cheyenne is the worst about reneging on something where you'll throw a card out and they're like, hold on, didn't you cut that 2 hands ago? Exactly. I'm like, you've got to be a better liar.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, you got to be a better liar.
My brother and his ex-wife, that caused a fight in our house when she kept reneging.
I'm telling you. How many books you got? 2. Exactly. You're lying. How many books you got?
Shoot.
All right, second pick, Brad.
Second pick, listen. I still play this version of the game I'm about to mention. It's not quite the one that I played when I was a kid, but it's the fact that it's lasted the test of time. That'd be Tetris.
Oh, that's a good one.
Solid.
I love Tetris. Yeah.
When that first came out,
you can play it anywhere too.
I was addicted.
Yeah.
Just from the songs, I'd be sitting there bling, 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 and just playing this, and as it got faster and faster and faster, as the blocks kept getting to the top, I'd be more anxious, and then bam, it'd be over. I love Tetris, man.
Robert Walsh, second pick.
For me, this is what I think is the elite playground game. If you were going to play with a large group of people, this was my favorite game. There was strategy involved. It was lawless. You would take kids down. My pick is Capture the Flag.
Ooh, that was a good one.
I remember at whether it was church camp or daycare or just in someone's backyard, getting to hide the flag, crossing the line, looking for the flag. All of that was elite childhood memories for me, so I'm going to go ahead and snag Capture the Flag off the board.
On the list of greatest all-time fictional athletes, there is one man, ladies and gentlemen, that stands above the rest. That's my good friend Pablo Sanchez. Backyard baseball. Second pick.
I did a lot of that.
On the computer, that is the game that I would play the most as a kid. I had the MVP 2005 baseball game, or I would play backyard baseball on the computer. The best computer game of all time. Backyard baseball, my second pick.
Love it. I don't know if maybe you grew up with one. I had a sibling, so we had many wars in the basement. Sometimes paddles got thrown against the wall.
Jesus, Kayla.
Okay.
Yeah. Just wait a second. Ping pong.
You're scary.
Yeah, I am. So don't cross me.
Ping pong, the second pick. Number 3. Kayla?
Oh, I go again?
You get 2 in a row.
Okay. You mentioned computer games, and that brought up memories of my high school years when we would have class, actually having to defeat this game or trying to. Oregon Trail.
There you go.
What the hell is that?
I'm currently dealing with dysentery.
Yeah,
So good.
dysentery.
It's so good.
Where's Oregon Trail, Bert?
Like when the great Manifest Destiny, like everyone headed west for the gold rush. You would start somewhere like Oklahoma City, and you would go to the general store and stock up your wagons and get axles and ox, and you would simulate the trail to Oregon. So things would happen. You'd have to forge rivers, and you'd have to hunt for food and forage for berries and all that kind of stuff. But it was. As a kid, it was very tough to win because you would prioritize hunting because that was the most fun mini game. But you got to have more to eat than meat.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they have an Amazon River one or something too?
Oh, if they did, I would have. I'm going to look that up right now. Thank you for distracting me.
Third pick for me is an easy one. It is the game I was dominating last night. I had it on N64, on the Nintendo Wii, on my DS as a kid. It's Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Big Waluigi guy in Mario Kart. The long, lanky Italian guy. We share a lot in common. If you lose, you say, everybody cheated. And then that's about it. So,
I know you got that, Bert.
Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah.
Is my third pick.
I'm a Toad guy, though. Toad or Yoshi.
You would be a Toad guy.
I can't help it, man. When I play video games, my main goal is to trigger whoever I'm playing against. I want you to be so upset that you can't play the game like you want to. Am I back up here?
Yes, you are.
Yep.
Okay, so Kayla, you've kind of cleaned my board off, so I'm going to go back to video games, and this is what I used to play when I was a kid. This is what polluted my mind as a young adult, someone who probably shouldn't have bought this game for me as a kid. I'm going to go with Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
There's no reason a 12-year-old should be driving in a Maserati with a samurai sword, but here we are.
I like it.
I like it.
GTA, you say Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, you did still. You got to get out of my head today, bro.
This is scaring
Spades
me
are
a
such a
little
good
bit.
pick. I'm going to tell you that as soon as you said we are a great combo, I was like, how did I forget Spades?
Yeah. But Grand Theft Auto was the one that I was going to go to. So I can't share that one with Bert.
You should have traded those picks, man.
I should have traded at least one of them.
You got 2 picks in a row here, Brad.
2 picks in a row. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the playground. I loved kickball.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Heck yeah.
That was on my board.
You know what I mean?
Skip-Its? Man, that was
What is
a good
Skip-Its?
What in the world?
Dude, you just skip over this thing over and over and over and see
It
how
had
many
like
times it counted.
It had like
Never
a
heard of
ring
that.
that you would put around your ankle,
Yeah.
and then you would jump over it as you
Yeah.
would spin it around.
It was so good.
I'm going to go way back, way back. I don't even know if the kids even know what this even is. Do you guys remember Duck, Duck, Goose?
Yep.
Is that your 4th pick?
Yeah.
All right.
Red Rover.
Red Rover, send Will Bowling over.
Yep.
We were not really a Red Rover elementary school over at Edmondson.
I
Go Explorers.
destroyed some lines.
All right, Bert.
That sounded really bad. Don't clip that.
Yeah, that's getting clipped too. All of it's getting clipped. My final pick is something that I have never played, but I have sought to find a group, someone that would allow me to become my truest self. I'm going to select Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God. I hated Dungeons and Dragons.
I would be so good at Dungeons and Dragons.
Nerd.
I want you guys to know, if there is anyone, if you are within the reach of my voice, Bert the Fantastic needs a group. Someone invite me. I will come ironclad and ready to put my life on the line. Whether it's dragons or goblins or just hanging out at the tavern, I am a vibes guy. So bring
Fair
Bert
enough.
the Bard on for your next adventure.
Kayla, what's that park on West End just before you get on 440?
Centennial?
No, it's past that.
They be LARPing over there.
You don't talk. Yes,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Over by closer to NBA.
I could totally see Bert with a cape on and a broadsword in the park.
Just frolicking in the field.
It's lightning bolt.
The one across from NBA? Is that okay?
Frolicking. That's a great word.
Frolicking.
For my final pick, I could go to round out my team a little bit. I could go with one of the outdoor games or recess and things like that. Kickball was my 1-1 selection if we were just going on the recess field. I love kickball.
Yeah.
That's the best men's league thing to join or co-ed league to join is kickball. I got to stay true to myself. I am a soccer fan in part because of FIFA. And FIFA is the best sports video game in a lot of ways for many people because you can't just glitch one play, right? Like if you run pinch bucko on Madden, you can get a free release from your edge rusher and you can get 70 sacks with one player on all Madden in one season.
Yeah.
Like there are certain plays that like you do certain things, you can glitch. You can't do that on FIFA. You got to be creative. You got to, unpack the opponent in certain ways. I think FIFA is my fourth pick. There we go.
Okay. I'll take it back to you could probably do this as a game, and there's games specifically that get more specific into this, but I'm just going to go with the original game that is always fun, whether you're with your family or you're with your friends. Maybe you're a little bored and you need a game to play. Charades. Good old-fashioned charades. I feel like that's still going to stand true to this day. It's an old game, but you can play it anywhere.
Tell us what we missed when we come back. 615-737-1045. The final teams, Kayla goes beer pong, ping pong, Oregon Trail, and charades. So we need extra ping pong balls to the Anderson household.
Yes.
I go with the NCAA football video game, backyard baseball, Mario Kart, and FIFA. Bert goes Super Smash Bros., Capture the Flag, GTA, Dungeons and Dragons. Some variety there.
Woo!
Brad Hopkins going spades, Tetris, kickball, and Duck Duck Goose. Undrafted picks and honorable mentions. Tell us where we missed. 615-737-1045.
Hey, it is summertime, and this is usually the time you like to get out, do some of those things that you love to do, whether it's going on a bike ride, a hike, but maybe you're not able to do that because you are suffering from pain in your knees, your shoulders, your back, or your hips. Hey, it's Kayla Anderson. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here, and it is at QC Kinetics. You can call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, and I'm talking about lasting joint pain relief. Nothing that has to do with surgery. There's no drugs involved, no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair that damaged tissue so that you can walk, run, hike, play golf, and move again pain-free. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility back, and you can be one of them. So stop putting it off and take action today. You can call QC Kinetics for a free consultation at 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Wrap it up hour number 3 this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will with another RKW Draft. Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, and Will Bowling. What did we miss? At Ramon, Kayla, Will on Twitter. That is where you can make your voice heard. You vote for the best picks. The teams again. Kayla's got beer pong, ping pong, Oregon Trail, and charades. I've got the NCAA football video game, backyard baseball, Mario Kart, and FIFA. Bert, Super Smash Bros., Capture the Flag, GTA, Dungeons & Dragons. You've already got offers from people in the chat to play D&D with you. And Brad's got Spades, Tetris, Kickball, and Duck, Duck, Goose. Undrafted picks, guys. What were your honorable mentions before we go to the phones?
Oh, the retired SF on the F&M Bank chat.
Yeah.
He's got Gran Turismo. I loved Gran Turismo.
Okay.
This racing game. You know, I like car games where you can,
Agreed.
Just race and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
You're a car guy.
I love cars. You know me.
I do love me some. I like party games. I mean, I don't know. I like doing that kind of stuff. Truth or Dare is. How can you go wrong with Truth or Dare? Man?
You can go wrong. Exactly.
You can very easily.
I love it. Let's go. You learn a little bit about each other that way.
The classic NHL games are really fun. Those are always a good pick. Backyard hockey again. Any of the backyard series, like backyard football, backyard hockey.
Ooh, badminton.
PGA Tour was also another solid one. I had cornhole in terms of like outdoor games. Mm-hmm. Y'all play Can Jam ever?
What is Can Jam?
Big Can Jam guy on the beach.
Great beach game.
The best beach game, in my humble opinion.
The hell is that?
So it's kind of hard to describe, but basically you've got like trash can kind of thing. So there's like a little mail slot in the middle of it, and you have Frisbees, and it's 2-on-2, and you're trying to throw it and hit the can, or you're trying to throw it in the can for 3 points. If it hits the can, it hits the ground, it's 1 point. And if it goes through the mail slot, it's like the golden snitch, like you win. And so it's kind of like cornhole meets like Frisbee against a trash can instead of like a board with a hole in it.
You guys ever play Spike Ball? Spike Ball is another good beach game.
Great one. That was really big when I was in high school. And like if you had study hall and you were a senior on like the privilege list, or you had a GPA where you could go have study hall anywhere, where you just go on the football field and play Spike Ball during study hall.
I also did a lot of tetherball. I actually got my own tetherball built. My grandpa and I made my own tetherball because we would have tetherball competitions out on the recess field. But then I wanted to practice, so I got my own tetherball. Tetherball, I loved that game.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite.
I like Rogers says Red Dead Redemption. Great pick.
Anything Rockstar made, Rockstar does not make bad games. Bully, Grand Theft Auto, anything from them.
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, great pick as well. Halo, I'm surprised no one said Halo. Let's go to the phones. Joe is in Laverne first up on Best Games. What's up, Joe?
All right, I got an outdoor one for you here. Growing up, I had 4 sisters, so I was forever swinging them double Dutch ropes.
Heck yeah.
Jump rope.
Okay.
And B-Hop, here's one for you, man. Remember lawn darts? We used to get down with the lawn darts.
Yeah.
That was always made for an adventure. And, my favorite video game of all time got to be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, you gotta put that one in. I'm shocked no one's come up with that one just yet. That's a great one right there.
See, that's why we should have just done video games then, because I feel like you could do all video games if you wanted to.
Lawn darts could get you in trouble.
Why?
Because you could probably kill somebody.
Oh, okay.
That's a good reason.
How about short darts?
Is that a thing?
joking.
Regular darts.
Yes.
Oh,
Joseph in Smyrna.
Oh my God!
Let's go to Joseph in Smyrna up next. What's up, Joseph?
Oh, God.
Hey, man. Joe took my punch out. So
okay.
But I'm gonna go. I'd say the next best, man. Tecmo Bowl at the top.
Oh yeah.
Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl, and then if I'm going outside, I would obviously Red Rover, but they quit letting us play it because
us too.
When we send somebody over, we'd lock arms so hard, we give the most horrible, just nastiest clothesline to the coming.
That's what I was saying. I would run right through it. You're right.
You lying, Kayla. You skinny butt.
They would just get crushed. Probably my most hated video game was the Ninja Turtles on NES.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I never played that.
But just because I couldn't beat it.
I know, me too. But it was fun, though, wasn't it? Ninja Turtles?
Oh, yeah. No, totally fun. Also, I think honorable mention in there, Blitz the League. Both the Blitz the League, where you could use the steroids and stuff just to tear your guys up. I think that was a good one.
I like it.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, Joseph.
I'm shocked nobody mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, it's another good one.
Yeah.
Another one on Twitter, Mike says, no GoldenEye, Uno, or Dodgeball. Come on, man.
Love Uno.
Uno was one that was on my board. That'll split families apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to make enemies.
You guys ever heard of Crazy Eights?
Yeah.
Crazy Eights is like a version of Uno.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But with the regular playing cards.
Okay.
We played a hand of Crazy Eights for 4 years.
Wow.
Literally.
That's wild. Like you continued the game.
We continued the game for 4 years.
That is wild.
It was me, Bruce Matthews, Jason Matthews.
Yeah, my old economics teacher in high school.
That fourth would sometimes rotate. Sometimes it was Frank Wycheck. Sometimes it was Jason Lehman, former Tennessee Vol. And we literally would keep score. We played the game on the plane going to our destination, right? And I'll tell this right now because you got to find it to prove it. We would break the seat in the middle. And we'd make a table of it. Yeah. And awesome. That way you could play between the two seats, right? And we kept score. We pick up where we left off. Like once we went to the away game and played the game and then we head back, we pick up right where we left off. And we kept that score for 4 years.
That's wild. Dang.
Not bad.
Cool. It was fun.
615-737-1045. A ton of you on the phone lines getting ready to talk about best games. We will get to more of those coming up. We will also take a look at the NBA Draft last night. The headlines there. Reset all the headlines you may have missed if you're just waking up, starting your morning today. We got that for you coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster here for Artists and Custom Closets. Y'all, summer is here. Well, at least the summer events are, where you're in and out of the house each and every weekend. You got toys coming in. You got suitcases that you just drop in there and just water coolers. I'll tell you what, my mud room and garage look like I've been out of town and I need somebody to come over and organize it. So I'll definitely be hitting up Artists and Custom Closets, all right? But here's what they can do. They can transform your garage and outdoor space into a space of calm and organization with Artists and Custom Closets. You got to say goodbye to the clutter and hello to custom store solutions that are made to suit you, your style, and your budget. From your closet, garage, or office space, let the expert designers at Artists and Custom Closets help you get organized in any space in your home, from walk-in closets to pantry to garages or laundry rooms. Cool thing about Artisan is this: they're local. It's not a large chain business, but not only is it local, but their products are manufactured right here in the Southeast. And it's not a cookie cutter process also. It's customized to fit your home. Go ahead and start with a free in-house design consultation, all right, and take advantage of the multiple financing options and make getting organized easier than ever. You can reach out to them at 615-800-2199 or go to artisancustomclosets.com.
9 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Big thanks to everybody that came out to Game Terminal last night to hang out with us, play some games, drink some drinks. It was a blast. If you didn't get to check them out, go check them out. Game Terminal, they are awesome. NBA Draft Night 1 last night. Plenty of surprises. Zack Edey going 9th overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. SEC Player of the Year Dalton Knecht falling to the Lakers at 17. Night 2 tonight starting with the Raptors at pick 31. Some top talent still remaining on the board with Kyle Filipowski out of Duke, but one that did not hear his name called on night 1, Bronny James. Still waiting to be drafted, but the Lakers sit at 55 overall. That is the 25th pick in the second round at prime position to draft LeBron's son. Two big deals in the NBA that got done yesterday. The Miami Heat and Bam Adebayo signing a 3-year, $166 million deal, and the Knicks signing OG Anunoby to a 5-year, $212 million contract. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your own for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour here already on your Thursday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW with Brad Hopkins in for the president, Ramon Foster. We say he's the president because Big Orange Mac yesterday said, I need his vacation schedule. He's like the president. He's just always on a golf course or something. I kid, of course. Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, Will Bowling. A deserved day off, as always, for the busiest man in showbiz and the busiest baseball parent in showbiz.
Yep.
Ramon Foster. 615-737-1045. How you join us? Some news from the Titans yesterday. Football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, July 27th, an open practice at Nissan Stadium. Back together weekend. Scheduled for July 27th, Nissan Stadium. Practice will be at 11 a.m. Central. Parking lots will open at 9. Gates will open at 10. Fans must claim a free ticket through SeatGeek in order to attend. That link is on TennesseeTitans.com. Parking lots, the public, lots E, F, R, and N. Football back in Nissan Stadium, Saturday, July 27th.
Well, get a taste of what that parking is going to look like this fall.
Oh, that's right. My goodness.
Night. Yeah, it's going to be.
I'm thinking about this already.
Can you Uber to the game? I'm not walking across the pedestrian bridge. I can't do all that. I got a new knee.
You can Uber.
See, I would Uber to the pedestrian bridge is what I'm probably planning on doing because I am moving out of downtown, so I will no longer be walking distance from the stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to Uber to one of the Broadway bars or something and just walk from there.
Yeah.
Not go in there, but walk from there.
And you could do that too. There's always close things by, so you can just have them drop. That's a great idea. Have them drop them off there.
Did you guys just not hear me? I don't want to walk across the bridge.
You don't want to. Maybe they'll get you a golf cart or something. You
got to get a hover round. How can you not get a hover round ad?
Yeah, right.
They used to take them things to the Grand Canyon. You don't think you can get them over the pedestrian?
I'm scared to get on one of them bird things.
I'm not
end up in the Cumberland.
I'm not getting on one of those. Yeah.
I was terrified until I overcame my fear probably maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But I will say I don't like riding them in the road. That is the tough part.
Yeah.
I would much rather run over people who are here for the weekend on the sidewalk than have to share the road with some of these people.
I can see you doing that too.
Speaking of the Titans, which I am interested to see how that practice for fans is kind of how it's ran, right? Because we've seen it under Vrabel and Malarkey, at least since I've been here. And I wonder if they'll do anything different or, things will change in terms of with fans being in there. So I am kind of curious of how they do that. And by the way, happy birthday, Will Levis.
Happy birthday, Jonathan Schaefer.
Jonathan Schaefer, all right.
Those practices, talk about it. Those practices, they're more for just like public consumption versus, really trying to get down to the nuts and bolts of it all. It's almost like a dress rehearsal, kind of, sort of.
And Vrabel did it a couple different ways, and I think I can't remember which one it was. It just wasn't that great for consumption, at least for fans. I feel like the feedback.
Yeah.
But
did you like practicing in front of fans, playing to crowd at all, or did you even really notice it? Because it was more of a thing where before COVID, I mean, it was just like a normal bleacher set up beside the fields, and fans are always around.
Right. Now, I will say that the fan participation now at practice is a lot more prevalent than it was when we first moved here, because they didn't have the stands, right? The backdrop over at 460 that they have now. It really wasn't this, in other markets, you do see thousands of people go to practice. That just wasn't us. Nowadays, it's a little more close to that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what the Nissan Stadium experience resembles, right? Thousands of fans being able to come and watch the team. When I was playing, we just didn't interact like that with the fans. Sure. And those kind of practices are different because they're not like the regular practices where, you're really working on things. You're really trying to, it's like you're just basically showing the public what you've been working on,
I do remember one. I think it was Vrabel staff. I'll give credit for this one. I thought it was fun. They did it at, I believe it was Centennial under the lights on a Friday.
It was.
And it was really cool. I thought that was neat.
Centennial High School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor H. in the F&M Bank chat on YouTube says, I think I recall a practice in front of fans being all punting situations.
That was it.
Yeah, I could.
One of them.
Totally
Vrabelism.
Special teams.
I do feel like fans now, though, Brad, might know more just about what an NFL practice looks like, because there is a lot more social media coverage and videos, and we break down practice so much now that fans, I feel like, are very well versed in what they are watching, because as Buck Rising says, we give them thirst traps of routes on air all the time on social media, and fans eat it up, as they should. It's the NFL. They eat up everything NFL.
In Green Bay, as those guys go to practice, there are kids that allow their bicycles to be ridden by the players. And it's an honor, right? Because that's part of what they do in the training camp culture in Green Bay. We just didn't have those little nuances like that, where you had this almost making it a point to be at training camp every single year. And it's more than just getting, your paraphernalia signed. It's about really, you tracking and journaling what the team is going through to prepare itself for that upcoming season, right? I think we're starting to develop that because now we have generations of Titans football to watch. But I've always thought that was pretty unique and pretty fun to watch.
Cool.
In situations like that. I'm sure that there are probably other clubs that have, similar situations where, the public comes out and supports them in some form or fashion. But I think that since the NFL has only been introduced to Middle Tennessee since the late 90s, we've got a lot of catching up to do to some of those older markets.
615-737-1045 is our number. A great time last night at Game Terminal, and lots of fun with pinball. It was awesome. That place, guys, is sweet. Yeah. It is affordable. The food is great. The drinks are awesome. The bourbon mule they had was fantastic. They had this like ginger whiskey kind of situation going on. It was the Cruel Mule. It was unbelievable.
You made me get 2 of them.
Really, really good. That is a great place to go if you are looking for something to do on a weekend. You want to have a good time. You want to do something different versus just going and watching sports or just sitting at the same old bars and just sitting there having a beer. Because it is also right outside of downtown, so you're outside of like the hustle and bustle and the craziness and chaos of like being right in the middle of everything. You guys have got to go check this place out at Game Terminal. My like friends who I've sent pictures to, saw videos, were like, all right, we are in. Like that is an awesome spot to go. Like date night, friends, like anything else. Like it is so much fun.
And trust your GPS, Kayla. Right?
Yeah, well,
it
was
might
so bad
seem
in
like
terms of the weather. I couldn't even see where we were going.
Oh my gosh! How about that weather that
Everybody
came through?
was hydroplaning on the way there.
But I'm saying, as my wife and I were trying to find Game Terminal, I just knew that I was being directed in the wrong direction. But actually, it was. It's a hidden gem, like you said,
Plenty
right?
of parking, which is also
Tons
another
of
thing.
parking.
Exactly.
Tons of parking.
As I get closer to being 30, that is one. Like that's how I know I'm getting older. Of like, can I park?
Yeah.
I'm probably out. Mm-hmm. But you can park there. It's very easy and free.
There's an outdoor area too, which we didn't get to take advantage of because we were in the middle of thunderstorms during the event. But there is a whole outdoor area where I think there is cornhole.
There is cornhole
and
there.
things like that.
Yep.
So it's really neat, indoor and out.
He told me he has a full-sized pickleball court back there. He has so many different outdoor things. So many things we didn't even get to explore.
I like it. Yeah, shuffleboard, which was also one of my honorable mentions. One of my undrafteds today for best games in the RKW draft.
Shuffleboard.
That would be a great place to go on an NFL Sunday when the Titans aren't playing or when the Titans are playing. If you want to have something to do at halftime and relieve the stress a little bit, I pace a lot or just find something to do during a stressful sporting event. It's a great way to relieve the stress. Give yourself something to do. Go play pinball on a commercial break.
And that little VIP space that they had food for us,
Sweet.
That's perfect for your corporate outing.
Absolutely.
It was great for our corporate outing last night. Very fun. So appreciate all of the people that came out, all listeners, and all of our winners who made it a very fun night. And you can go to our Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will and vote on our best games, both outdoor, tailgate, drinking, old school, computer, and video variety.
So many cool games.
Jessica on Twitter writes in on open practice and training camp. Says, I remember Michael Griffin used to line up his cleats on the last practice and let the kids race for them. Says, we have a few of those autographed cleats.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's just a brag right there.
That's right. I love Michael Griffin. Great former Titan. Prior to the Texas Longhorns. Coming up next, Ron Slay is going to stop by. He was just running NBA Jam last night at Game Terminal. We can get into that, get into Tennessee's national championship on the baseball diamond on Monday night. And the fit for Dalton Knecht. There are a lot of European stars that were drafted last night as well. Ron Slay played in Europe, knows a thing or two about those guys. We'll ask him about that. Who knows where the wind will take us when Ron Slay walks in the building, and he will join us coming up next. Rolling right along in hour 4 of your Thursday morning. Ramon, Kayla, and Will. All that's missing is Ramon. We got Brad Hopkins, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, Will Bowling, joined in studio by a fellow alumnus of the NCAA Baseball College World Series national champions. What is it like not winning a national championship this summer? Ron Slay and I have no idea. What's up, Slay?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Really? I don't know what that's like.
It's all good, though, man. I'm happy. Shoot, I know that, man. It's been long enough. Long enough, dog. We had to get off the schneid at some point, man.
We did.
And what better time, man, with baseball getting ready to roll into football. It just gives you so much hope for football. Like, even if we, like, listen, I'd be shocked if we win the national championship. But going into the season, coming off of that, off the basketball and then off of baseball, I feel like it's a possibility at any given point. So
that's all I know.
It's cool, man. It's the energy that you need in school to push through. And imagine that was without any students there. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine what the celebration would be like. It's game, man. This is what, honestly, I was talking to Admiral Schofield last night. I told him, I said, man, this is what I was trying to tell you in Grant. Like, you don't know what it's like. Like, y'all had a great run. Sweet 16s, like y'all were rolling. But you don't know what it's like up there till a national championship is won or football is reigning supreme. It's different, man. Everybody eats off of that, man. I'm telling you, like, a lot of meals I ain't had to pay for, man, because football was rolling. We was cool, but it was a lot, man.
I remember a couple of years ago watching Angel Reese supporting Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
And you can talk about this too, Ron, how the connection between the success that one part of the program has, it kind of permeates through everything else. When I was at Illinois, the Flying Illini, Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, those cats were taking the program to the Final Four. We happened to win the Big Ten around the same time. So there is a connection.
It is.
And we feel proud to talk about our basketball brethren, don't we? Right?
Absolutely.
Just like you feel proud to talk about Nico
question.
and the future for the football program.
No question. That was like during COVID, when I started doing my podcast, The Boom Boom Room, when I was speaking with Ashley Robinson, who was there with us, played the Lady Vols, and Shamika Holtzclaw, who was right before me. That's what it was about. I asked him, like, what was your what did you take from school? You know what I'm saying? And what was the biggest, if you just could if you could say one thing that you took from school? And she said family. And it's the same thing I would say, because it bled over into the other. You know what I mean? Like, Shamika didn't even go to school with me. Like, she was going out when I was coming in, but it's still like we talked like we were in school together. So the women's program bled over to football bled over to men's. I remember when I got up there, the first thing I said, we were in the preseason. We had just got finished working out, and everybody, you sit in the locker room just chilling, trying to figure out what you're gonna do. And I was asking them, hey, man, what y'all finna do tonight? We was like, man, some was like, man, we're gonna get something to eat. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go over to such and such house. I said, well, I'm finna go over here with the football team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of them my partners, and plus, they winning.
Yep.
Like, we need to go get some of that. Whatever they doing, off the field, on the field, we need to be around it, dog, because it's contagious. It's nothing else like that, man. And guess what? It bled right into our program, in the weight rooms and all that. Like, we can't really challenge the football players, but we sitting over there, too. Like, all right, we hitting that iron too, man. What y'all want to do? Like, we catch one of them. It turned into so many different games, and the camaraderie, man, is totally different. To your point, B-Hop, man. It's nothing like it. It's always better when everybody's supporting each other, and it all spills into it in the success, and it starts from the top.
Right.
You see these coaches doing it? It's easy. Coach Summit, you would see Coach Summit everywhere.
Yeah, you would.
And this was before it was popular.
Right.
Jerry Green wasn't going nowhere. Yeah, he going practice and he going home. Our coach, you know what I mean? But Coach Summer would be there. Coach Foreman would be there. So you could see it. The moniker would be the same way. Like, you could see it, man. Our coach just was a little different, but it all helped.
And that's what the Vols kind of symbolized at the College World Series. And I know this is not the first time that they've done that as a group, but the three major men's sports head coaches were there together, and then you add on Peyton Manning, of course, with that too. And it's almost like a symbol of, like, this is what we represent. This is how serious we are. We are a family. We all want to win championships. We all want to be elite.
Yep. And you look back at it when Rick Barnes was kind of holding the flag himself. He came with that moniker that it's not about me. And that kind of permeated through the entire program. You know what I'm saying? So they took it on with football when Coach Hypo got there, when Vitello got there. Like, everybody, like, in order for us to do this, we got to do it together. And I thought he brought a little bit of that from Texas with him and Mac Brown. Him and Mac Brown used to support each other the same way. So you bring that it's a winning culture, man. And there's got to be seeds planted, and you're finally getting to see what it looks like when you get guys like Danny White, Chancellor Plowman, Randy Boyd, everybody pulling in the same direction.
It was pretty incredible to watch. The fanfare as well as at the Tennessee alumni tailgate. They went from a pre-recorded video of T. Martin wishing everyone luck, saying, I wish I could be there. My son's got baseball, which we've heard that a time or two from our teammate Ramon Foster, the busiest parent broadcaster in the world. And then here's Ron Slay. Just on the TV, just getting everybody rowdy, you got the people pumped up. There was 5% more energy at least from maybe 3.5%.
I'll take that.
35 going into the stadium because of Slay getting the people going.
Yeah, anytime, man, you can get an opportunity to be there. Now, I remember what it was like being up there in Detroit for the Elite Eight. And what it means to them, you know what I mean, to see a person from another sport, but also supporting, and to hear their voice, like, it's different because it's so juiced up right then, and all you need is that little extra little plug in, and it's gone. So I knew what to do. Plus, I got to give for Gab. So
you know what? I think that
I love it.
You know my passion for the hardwood.
No question.
Right? I loved basketball more than I loved football growing up. Right.
Yeah.
So I saw myself being a Dalton Knecht, a guy that was not a Division I prospect, a guy that might have had to go to a smaller school like a Northern Colorado, but then make the choice to transfer to the big platform, the big stage of the SEC, and get that kind of coaching that makes you an elite player. How many more of that story are out there versus the Zachary Regional?
Yeah. There's plenty of them out there, man. The thing is, a lot of times when you bet on yourself, you start to get the knock if you don't succeed at it like Dalton did. You got to think he went into it and was a unanimous All-American outside of Zack Edey. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough to do. SEC Player of the Year. Others would do it and be like first team All-SEC, maybe honorable mention as far as an All-American, and kind of get lost in the shuffle. You know what I'm saying? And don't really remember. So it's plenty of stories like that out there. But I do believe the way that you have a bigger picture to paint, if you will, as far as different avenues that you can go, it's harder to get lost now. You know what I'm saying? With the G League Elite, you got overseas, you got overseas elite. Like, you got so many different avenues, and they're watching. Like, it's one thing, when I went overseas, they was keeping an eye on it, but they was only keeping an eye on it if you were in the Euro League or Euro Cup, or I was just fortunate enough to be playing in Italy, where they were recruiting guys out of there, so they kept an eye on you. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, man, you can go to Australia, man, you can go to South America, where you really going down there for 3 months to get a bankroll and come on back and have a good time. Now they still watching down there. So the eyes are on you, man. You got more resources. You got more scouts everywhere. And with these phones now, it's easy for people to go out. We can send B-Hop over to Spain. He watched 3 or 4 games, and he just type in, I saw boom, 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 boom. He going off, and that's it. His job is done. That comes back to the Charlotte Hornets, and the Hornets take that, put it in the database, and it goes out in the whole NBA. Now you're on the board. It's simple now, man.
Speaking of Dalton, last night, and watching the NBA draft, and you see Zack Edey go, and you're waiting, and okay, where is Dalton Knecht go? And soon the broadcast, it's a conversation amongst the broadcast. I'm confused. What's going on? I've contacted GMs. They're saying the only thing we can think of is his age.
The only thing.
And then he gets drafted 17th overall to the Los Angeles Lakers. I just want to know your thought process throughout that time, and then when he was drafted.
Watching it, man, I knew this is always going to be the knock on guys. I thought the COVID year would kind of save some people from it, but the longer you stay in college, and it's becoming the reign even more true as we go on in years until the cycle comes back around. But the longer you stay in, the more they are able to chip away at what it is to knock you for. That's what it was when you heard about the great class of '96. When Antoine Walker, Allen Iverson, Marcus Camby, all those guys coming out, those guys didn't want to come out. They were sophomores and juniors and stuff. Like, coaches had to tell them, hey, man, you got to go. Like Marcus Campbell, you number one, dog. You gotta go. Man, Coach Kyle had to tell him to leave. So now you're getting guys that are 18, 19 years old, and they're just testing it, and so they're drafting off potential now more so than guys that are proven, because the proven, I can go get you and plug you. Mm-hmm. It's okay. But the potential I can't miss out on because my owner is looking for the next Dirk Nowitzki. He's looking for the next Luka. He's looking for the next Joker. You know what I'm saying? Looking for the next Joel Embiid. You're looking for these guys, and if you miss on them, your job may be on the line. So it's almost worth taking the bait and saying, I'm going to go with this guy over what's proven because I know he's going to be okay. So when he slipped, they tried to use the age, and you knew it was coming. But at the same time, you're asking, like, what is your window? Your window is an 8 to 10 year window. If you stay healthy, you're going to be okay. And he's already polished. He can go in there, plug and go, and you can continue to get better by the time you get in this prime. The younger guys, they take them, man, and they want to use them as clay and mold them. You know what I'm saying? And take that chance. And maybe it does work. Maybe it doesn't work. But one thing you can always go back to your own and say is, hey, man, we took them. We
tried.
You know what I mean? We tried.
Yeah.
We tried to go find them. We tried to find Victor Wembanyama. But it ain't him. How many times do these guys turn out and flop? You know what I'm saying? Or don't even come over. A lot of them will go back to their team and play in the French league for a year or two, get groomed, and then come over. And you'd be like, darn, where did he come from? Yeah. We drafted him 2 years ago.
Right.
So
Sure.
It's just different, man. But Dalton, I think he fell into a great spot. What you want to do now, especially how it's slotted, it really doesn't matter. Like when I came out, or the early 90s was different. You needed to get that first round because it was going to be 4 years, and then you get that extra, you know what I mean, when you go back in there and bargain. Now, you 2 years, man. You almost, if you go in the second round, you almost don't want to be drafted.
Yeah.
Because you can get out your contract quicker, get that second one, and you boom, you gone. You know what I'm saying? So
interesting.
It all work out for him, man.
I remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, General Manager Zach Kleiman with the Grizzlies has said all offseason that he wants to add a big man after the regular season to go along with Jaren Jackson Jr., with Desmond Bane, and of course, John Morant, who doesn't even need to be introduced. But the Zack Edey fit in Memphis, there are people that had him at the bottom of the first round.
That's why I had him.
Top 10 for a 7'5", pushing 290 center. How does his game adjust to the NBA, and what does Memphis see in him?
I think offensively he'll be fine. I think they're searching for the next Steven Adams, and he's not Steven Adams. Steven Adams is a guy, man, who was way younger when he came into the league, for one, and he was way more athletic than Zack Edey defensively. So all those switching that's going on now, I think that's where he thrived at, and he was able to protect the basket, and he was more of a physical guy. You know what I mean? Way more physical. But Zack Edey will be fine offensively. But the question is, what does Memphis tend to do if Ja is the first option, Jaren Jackson is the second option, or it could be Desmond Bane. And I forgot my young fella name from Gonzaga, man, that plays the four, Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Brandon
Clark. He could be the fourth option. So are you going to slow your game down to give him the ball inside or play him situationally? That's going to be the question. Jaren Jackson does not like playing inside. So I understand them taking Zack Edey, especially when you couldn't get Klingon. Like, that's one thing. But what happens, man, when they go 1-5 pick and roll and you have to switch? That's my only thing. Or when you're matched up with Joker, or you're matched up with Porzingis, or you're matched up with Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? The list can go on and on. That's the problem. Nobody's going to say, all right, I'm going to post up and I'm going to bang them. You'll be a fool. What I'm going to do is go pick and pop, pass it to the big man, and if he can go 2 for 5, we living with it.
Yeah.
What is he going to do defensively? That's my only thing with it. I think offensively he'll be fine around the rim. He's going to be able to contest. But can he get out and challenge them shots and get back and run? Like, his conditioning picked up, which was great. But, man, I think it's going to be a challenge defensively, man.
Slay, I remember back in the day when it was just college kids that were on the USA Olympic team playing basketball, right? And then when they started allowing pros to play and we started dominating, I was saying, see, that's what we could do.
Yep, that's us.
It seemed like the planet has caught up. Now, I think collectively America still has the most talent when it comes to basketball.
Right.
But when you see 4 French fries, and I call y'all French fries, that's how y'all shake. When you see 4, I hear you, Kayla. We Kayla. When I see 4 French players go in the first round, 3 of them in the top 10, you've got to admit that, man, maybe there is an advantage to playing over in Europe. You played in Europe.
Yeah.
You've played here in America, of course. Is there a distinct advantage?
The advantage that they get is they get to start at 15 to get into the pro farm system. So while we're still battling to get eligible and pass the ACT and pass the SAT, they're playing in pro league. So once you finally get eligible, you go to college, you think about going to college for 1 year or 2 years, they've already played 4 or 5 years professionally. So when they're starting their way at 15, 16, I don't think they caught up. I just think the potential and what they're used to with the game being translated to the European game over here in America now, it's easier for them to translate and say, we understand the game now. You know what I mean? The athleticism and everything has caught up to an extent. But you can't take those guys and then say, when the game slows down, I think that's where the difference comes with American players and European players when the game slows down. As far as getting out transition, it's even. We can get up and down the court. It is what it is. But in them last 4 or 5 minutes, when you got to start making pin down screens, knowing how to play defensively, it's going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So I think as far as that level, it is even. But the difference is, man, is you got guys that can get it done in those last minutes of the game where they can't because they haven't been in those roles. Because if you watch them, they're averaging 9 to 10 to 12 points. That's it. Yeah. That's in transition. If you look at all the highlights, it's somebody driving to the basket, dropping it off for him, or pitching to the head, or taking a guy one-on-one. All that's cool until you get to a situation where you're not the guy. You know what I'm saying?
The ball.
Yeah. You know, now what you gonna do while you standing and watching Joker go to work? Are you going in the rebound? Are you going to cross match, getting back? Do you understand all that? It's tough, man. So I think that's one thing that we gotta figure out as far as in America. What are you gonna do as far as that the upper edge that they get as far as playing professionally at that 15-year-old age, man? It's different. It's different because you're playing with grown men.
Men.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's different. Yeah. You know what I mean? This ain't 34 years ago where you were watching the 92 Dream Team, 32 years ago we were watching the 92 Dream Team play against Croatia and everybody moving out the way. It's totally different now. Like these guys want to challenge it. They've seen it. They've been able to grow. I've been able to play against Porzingis over there when he was coming up in Seville in Spain. Like he's seen it. He's seen the elbows and it's nothing new. He understands what it is. But can you accept your role and be able to play off of the ball when you're not the guy?
Interesting. So among the teams in Olympic basketball that's this upcoming summer, at the top of each of these groups, I mean, you got Serbia in the group with the United States.
Yep.
You've got Australia, a really good Canadian roster, both sharing Group A. And then you've got France and all these stars and Wembanyama and all these things.
Yeah.
So my first question, real quick: who is the biggest challenger to the United States this summer?
It may be France. It may be you got to watch Spain. Spain is sneaky. I have to go look at the rosters because it's people that we don't know. Right. Like they're taking breaks in their season to 100%. Practice while the NBA is continuing to play. They take 2 or 3 breaks in the season. When we get to fly home from over in Europe to come home, they take a week and they go to the mountains and they practice.
Sure.
So they keeping the camaraderie. So when you add the NBA guys to them, 2 or 3 guys and sprinkle them in, it's like, hey, welcome back, man. Our brother's back. You know what I mean? And they'll pick up like they never left. The difference with USA, we'll never be the underdog.
No.
I can't see it happening in the next 10, 15 years because our talent, when they're talking about the Victor Wembanyama's and guys like that, we got the Paulos, Bancheros, you know what I mean? And you got the what's my man? Ant-Man. You got Ant-Man.
Anthony.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got Joel Embiid who's choosing to play with the USA. Like it's a difference. You know what I mean? Like it's always going to be that level of difference. I think the biggest thing that USA figured out is that you have to go over and play for your country.
Yeah.
You're not going over there and playing for a contract that's going to be noticed by the NBA and we're going to get you back over here and sign. You're like, no, you playing for the country because that's what they paying for. And there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I would say Spain, man, you got to watch out for them. France should be top notch, but they're so young.
I was going to ask you, if you were setting a betting line, United States and France, how much would the United States be favored by?
I'll pick them by 8.
Okay.
8 to 10. 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And because you gotta imagine, one thing that's still to their advantage is the officials. Like, they see those officials all the time. I remember watching the Olympics and being like, man, they go, golly, I just forgot his name, man.
What country?
But the Italian referee, man.
Oh, yeah.
Big,
I'm not gonna know.
Man, big time guy, man. I just watched the interview with him too. But I knew going into the game, I was like, oh man, they playing with the right one. Like, this ain't the official that you want to play with. Like, he's different. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know that because you over here in the NBA. So they and the European players understand that because they travel on the EuroLeague circuit. So it's different.
Not Pietro Reverberi.
It's
Stefano Cazzato.
He just retired, man. But he's the head official for those guys in Europe, man.
Oh, that guy was at the 1952 games. Never mind.
Is he like the mob of the referees over there?
No, but he might as well be.
It's anti-Italian discrimination. That's what that is.
Say real quick. Obviously, a lot of news about J.J. Redick being named the new head coach in Los Angeles. His lack of coaching experience is part of the narrative. Have you ever coached? And how difficult do you think that job would be for someone that has so much playing experience but no coaching experience to do that job? We saw Jerry Stackhouse kind of struggle a little bit right down the road here in West End. But from your perspective, what do you think?
I think, man, when you're talking about pros, it's different. You gotta. How do you relate to them in the locker room? How do you get that conversation? How do you transfer your message to them? And how much do they believe in you? How many situations can you put yourself in immediately, timeouts, whatever it may be, during the regular season, in the preseason, and earn the trust? You got to build up the equity with these guys.
Yeah.
That's one thing about it. But his game, his knowledge is second to none. He understands the game. I think he's respected by the guys. You can tell the way he speaks. He understands the language. But in that locker room, who's going to be the ones to challenge him? And then when he gets challenged, does he back down? Does he hold everybody accountable? That right there is going to be the carryover to the court.
Ron Slay in studio with us. Coming up, Slay, I want to ask you what the biggest surprise of last night's NBA draft was. Right. Could be Dalton, Knecht, could be Zack Edey. We'll see where Slay takes that as we wrap up the show. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Y'all, have you ever had a contractor supposed to come to your house within a time frame and they not show up and got you waiting around all day long, just wasting away your day? Well, you don't have to do that with Hiller, okay? When you call them, they will set your time, be very prompt about it, send you a text message, call you potentially, let you know when they are showing up, just to give you a heads up like, hey, we're coming to your house. So if you're at work, just go home. We'll be there when you get there. I promise you that. But not only that, this month, you can be a happy camper with Hiller with 0 interest financing for 24 months on select HVAC systems, generators, and tankless water heaters. Or just simply take advantage of Hiller's $99 drain cleaning special. Take care of your home systems before the peak summer temperatures hit this weekend. Supposed to crank up a good bit, so you know that AC is going to be working in overdrive. Make sure you have Hiller over to check it out for you. Visit happyhiller.com today for details.
Wrapping up the show, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, RKW 104.5 The Zone. Ron Slay in studio. Our Tuesday sleigh ride on a Thursday morning.
Yay.
December and July, isn't that? Or summer and it's like a thing.
Could be.
Christmas in July.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
I like that.
Slay, what surprised you the most in last night's opening round of the NBA draft?
I'm gonna be honest, Will. It wasn't much that surprised me because it's just it's always wide open. Like you really don't know what direction any team is gonna go, especially outside of the top three. So I will say Zack Edey was a surprise. But then again, like the way the draft is, like I mean, can you be that surprised? So I can't pick one, man. I can't put my hand on one. I did think the kid Keyshawn George and what's his name, man, that played at Baylor, man.
I know exactly
Jacoby Walter.
Yep.
Man, Jacoby Walter is a dog, man. I thought he would have went higher. He can play, man. I remember catching him early on this season, before the season cranked up all the way, and he was getting down. I was like, he's a freshman, so he's tough, man. Rob Dillingham. That was pretty impressive. I thought he could have went a little higher, but it is what it is, man. People got to hit on. They got to hit on the hidden gems.
That's right,
and try to unhide the gems.
Does Bronny James go tonight?
Yeah, I think he goes. Somebody take a chance on me. I mean, how can you not if you got the opportunity also to be able to sign his dad on the back end?
I'm about to say, but so what? He goes.
Yeah.
How long before he actually sees an NBA court, not the G League?
I think going in the second round will give him a stronger possibility of being able to hit the floor. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be able to get thrust into a role. And the young man can play. It's just he's associated with LeBron. Like, if we could take that away, I think you could probably see his talent a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
You know
really?
what? I got to say that the immediate attention that Bronny is getting, to me, it needed to happen because I have discovered who he is. He is not his dad.
No, he's not.
He's not even his dad by personality.
No, he's fine with it, too.
He's not Shador Sanders either.
Nope.
He's a very humble kid that just really wants to stand on his own 2 feet.
Yep.
And the fact that he said, all I want to hear is my name called.
Yeah, that lets you
I don't
know.
care where I go or what the
you know.
future holds. Just let me in.
That let you know. Now when the next one that's coming along, Bryce might have a little bit
why
of
are we doing that already? This kid's barely in high school right now.
Bryce is different though. Man,
Senior
them at
next year.
6'8", man, long arms. Like you could watch them as they develop. Like the way his body is built. You can tell Bryce is going to be the one that everybody wanted Bronny to be.
But why did he? I know you talked about the difficulty for older players like Dalton Knecht to get drafted amongst 18-year-olds, like we just mentioned. Dattier. But when you look at Bronny himself, should he have stayed in with the heart situation? The fact that he didn't play all that much at USC. I mean, why was there the need for him to come out in this year's draft?
I think that's what the goal always was. To play pro,
you know
what I'm saying? Like, and
LeBron.
it's just the same thing that we just gave about what they're doing in Europe. Like, what you going to school for?
I'm not sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, almost like as crazy as he was, LeVar Ball was ahead of the game. Like, man, my sons, what they need to be going to school for, man? They need to train. What's their profession going to be? Basketball. They need to train for basketball, and hey, it worked.
Slay, we did our RKW draft for best games this morning. Tailgate games, drinking games, video games, recess games. Bert threw Dungeons and Dragons even in there for one of his picks.
Like that.
Give me your best games.
My best games going to have to be, and this is while you
card
young?
games in there too.
Just
any game. I picked Spades. That was my first game.
All right, my game is going to be funneling. Funnel with a full beer and a shot.
Oh my God. I was like, this is not what I think it is it?
Yeah. Funnel, a funnel, that's a hell of a game. I love that game. I love a keg stand game.
Same category,
that's
I'm sensing the theme here, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm right there, boy. Then,
Flip cup.
That was pretty good. Then on the Dreamcast, when NBA 2K came out on the Dreamcast, that was my freshman year. So I was in on that. And then you always got to go with Madden, man. Yeah. But then if I could throw one in as an alternate double dribble on Nintendo was my.
Ooh.
So Kayla had beer pong, ping pong, Oregon Trail, and charades.
I love Oregon Trail.
I had
that's fire.
That's a good one.
My wife made fun of me because I didn't know what it was.
I had I knew that one.
Come on, B-Hop.
I had NCAA football video game, backyard baseball, Mario Kart, and FIFA.
College football, man.
So good.
Great one.
So good. Bert had Super Smash Bros., Capture the Flag, Grand Theft Auto, and Dungeons and Dragons. Some variety.
Capture the Flag.
Yeah, just games.
Remember that one?
I never knew Capture the Flag.
Really?
Recess game.
Okay. I'm gonna have to Bert explain that one to me.
Brad had Spades, Tetris, Kickball, and Duck Duck Goose.
I love Duck Duck Goose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duck Goose.
Duck Duck Goose.
Musical
This
chairs.
really won the game. Yeah. Jump rope for heart.
Yes.
When they brought that, I was a jump rope king, boy. I'd be out there jump roping all day, boy.
Somebody brought up double
That is an image for me.
Do a competition of this.
Somebody brought
jump
up
rope.
double dutch. Double dutch. See, I couldn't never do that. I couldn't get my coordination right.
That'd
boy.
be
Slay just working on single Dutch. Ron Slay in studio with us. Slay, thank you.
Thanks, Slay
Appreciate
Dog.
it, y'all.
See you around.
Appreciate you coming by last night at RKW as well.
Had a blast.
Coming up next, Buck Rising was, I guess, prepping for his show. He was nowhere to be found last night playing arcade games. So expect an A+ show coming up next right here on 104.5 The Zone.